96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Coming up in about 30 minutes or so, we are going to be joined by Jonathan Ketz. We'll get his thoughts on the mayor of North Kansas City writing a letter saying that he has been having very serious conversations with the Kansas City Royals. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, we're going to head to Las Vegas, Nevada to be joined by Scott Goldbranson with Silver and Black today. Nate Taylor is going to join us in studio with the latest with Josh Simmons. We'll also get you ready for Sunday's matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. We got a lot to talk about. We saw the Unk Bowl yesterday, a very exciting game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got some college football this weekend. Yes, it is the middle of October, and Missouri is just now playing a road game. Yes, Missouri has not played a road game the entire season. They play their first road game coming up on Saturday against the Auburn Tigers. Again, a lot to get into in this show. We'll get to Chiefs and Raiders here coming up in just a bit, but I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. You know what? I would greatly appreciate that if that's the case. And number three, and most important, I need you to remember that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. If you're looking for a place to watch some college football, maybe you're not heading to the stadium on Sunday and you want a place to watch the game. Maybe you just want a good burger. Maybe you want some of the best pizza in Kansas City. Then look no further than our friends over at The Other Place. With 5 locations around town, be sure to stop by and check out The Other Place. All right. I hate that I'm going to use this analogy to kick off our Friday, but it is the analogy that comes closest to mind. I remember for a stretch of about a decade, whenever Missouri fans would suggest that Missouri and Kansas would play each other, outside of frustration that Missouri left the conference, the company line was, it doesn't really help us. That if we play you guys and you guys beat us, that's your Super Bowl. But when we beat you, it's just another Saturday afternoon in Lawrence, Kansas. This was an argument that a lot of Kansas fans made before the announcement, the decision to renew the border war. I feel like that's where we are when it comes to this rivalry. I am born and raised in Kansas City. I've lived every day of my life in the state of Missouri. I'm certainly very aware of Raider Week and what it means to hate the Las Vegas / Oakland / Los Angeles, whatever form of the Raiders. But at some point, I got tired of hearing the same stories from Bill Moss and Neil Smith and Dane Hughes about how great it was in the 90s. And I started to realize we're not really creating many new stories when it comes to these rivalries. And what was really important to you as a Chiefs fan in 1997 is no longer important to you in the same way that it is in 2025. Very simply put, to round out the analogy from the very beginning of this, we are at the point with the Chiefs and the Raiders that beating the Raiders just doesn't really matter. Patrick Mahomes has played the Raiders 14 times in his career. He has 12 wins against the Raiders. Are those wins that we really spend a lot of time talking about? What's been the most memorable thing that has happened in these games from a Chiefs winning standpoint? There's one memory that comes to mind. It's the ring around the rosy play. That's really it over the 12 wins. These are not memorable games. These are not games that we sit back and talk about for a random day in the summer when we go back and replay a championship run against the Tennessee Titans or the scramble against the Philadelphia Eagles or Jet Chip Wasp. The Raiders are just so far removed from those kinds of memories and those kinds of stories. It is just stories of yesteryear when it comes to these two organizations. Very simply put, beating the Raiders just doesn't matter anymore. Losing to the Raiders certainly matters. Patrick Mahomes has 2 losses to the Raiders. I bet you know exactly the details around those 2 losses. The first loss, they beat them. And remember, the rumor is that the Raiders took their team bus and rode around the stadium. The other loss was on Christmas Day. That's it. Entire Patrick Mahomes' career. Patrick Mahomes has had kids, got married, won MVP multiple times, Super Bowl. He's done 1,000 State Farm commercials, won Super Bowls, lost Super Bowls, ups and downs, highs and lows. He's lost to the Raiders 2 times in his career. And again, we know the details of those losses, so familiar because that's where we are. This is like Missouri playing Mo State in basketball. Sure, it'd be fun. I'd love to go down to Springfield to watch them, but there just isn't a lot of benefit for that to be the case. Everybody expects you to win, and it's frontline news when you lose. It's like that old adage about newspapers. The story is not dog bites man. That's what we expect. The story is man bites dog. That's not what we expect. We don't expect the Raiders to beat the Chiefs because they haven't shown us in 15 years that they're an organization that's capable of beating Kansas City. Now, I'm not saying that to disrespect the Raiders and saying that you shouldn't take them seriously because it is a division game. It is the National Football League in 2025. But come on now. This is the 8th or 9th most important game on the Chiefs' schedule. This is hey, let's stay healthy. Let's go win this because we know we got bigger fish to fry. Look at the games that the Chiefs have played so far. They played a game in Brazil. They played a 325 games against the Eagles. They've played Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. They play on Christmas. They play on Thanksgiving. The NFL thinks so much of this rivalry, they put it at noon. It's mixed in like it's trail mix with the other average games that we throw on Red Zone. That's how the NFL feels about this matchup in 2025. It's not that they're anti-coming to Kansas City. They love coming to Kansas City. I mean, they got Nance and Romo on this thing. I don't really know why Nance and Romo at this point probably got a timeshare on the plaza. They're here so much. But it is much more about losing to the Raiders than it is about winning to the Raiders at this point. You don't celebrate the wins over the Raiders like you do against Buffalo, against Cincinnati, against Baltimore, against the teams that you are actually competing against. I say this every time. College rivalries are based on that rivalry, that hatred, that back and forth, that mutual disdain of one another. It's not really what pro rivalries are. Pro rivalries are based on competitiveness and 2 teams fighting for the same thing. The Chiefs and the Raiders have not been fighting for the same thing since Circuit City was around. Since you were getting your clothes from Sears and Montgomery Ward. That's the last time that these 2 teams were on the same level and really fighting for the same thing. That the Chiefs have been a very consistent program since Andy Reid has gotten here, and the Raiders have had nothing but turnover and dysfunction for basically the last 20 years or so. The other top story related to this game is Rashee Rice and his return. You cannot undersell how important it is to get Rashee Rice back for this matchup. We've played this week, and I think it's really important just to give you guys an understanding of what we're talking about when it comes to this team, this player, and this offense. We asked Mitch Holtis, what does this mean for the Chiefs? This is what he said.
What if I just told you the Chiefs just traded for Deebo Samuel, and he's healthy? That's Rashee Rice. And even plus in some ways. That element is a perfect puzzle piece fit to what everybody else can do. The cool thing about this 514 area code, and then you throw in Juju and what he's been able to do, and he's the door hinge. I told you, we've been seeing it every game. Things fly open because Juju's doing something. And the guys know the value of Juju. And then you throw in Thornton, who going into last week was number 1 in the league in yards per catch. They all do different things. And so kind of the last piece of the puzzle is this combination of speed and power and tackle breaker that Rashee Rice is. So now if you're bailing out, you're playing zones, you can't double-team Kelsey anymore. You can't. There's no way you can. But I got to respect Hollywood. Wait a minute, I got to go deep. I'm going to play 2 deep safeties. Now you throw underneath with a tackle breaker like Rashee Rice, and it becomes a 15-yard pass. It becomes a 55-yard play. Or you run the jet sweep with him. And now all of a sudden you've got this speed and agility of a running back wide receiver combo, and it becomes potentially lethal.
If you go back to Rashee Rice's last 8 regular season games, I know he played in the postseason, but if you go to Rashee Rice's last 8 regular season games, we are talking about a guy who has had 77 catches for a little bit less than 900 yards in 8 games. We're talking about a guy who has been playing at an incredibly high level. Now, I don't know if that means he instantly pops back and he's the exact same receiver that he was in the 3 games that we really got to see him play last season. I mean, he had 7 catches for 100 yards, 5 for 75, 12 for 110, and then he got injured in the first quarter of game number 4. We're talking about a receiver that was on an absolute tear toward the end of the regular season and heading into last season. Now, what does that mean? The offense has changed. They just have more stuff now than they had the last time he was around. He wasn't around when Xavier Worthy last year really started to kind of figure some things out. So the timeshare is going to be a little bit different. He's never played with Hollywood Brown before. So the offense is just going to drastically change. Maybe he's not getting the same volume. Maybe he's not getting the same targets, same opportunities. But we're talking about a legitimate playmaker. One thing that I've really stressed with this offense is you got to get more explosive 20-somethings, because that's where your offense and the explosiveness comes from. That's where we are right now. You get back Rashee Rice, who's 25. You got Xavier Worthy, who's 22. Pacheco was on the final year of a rookie contract. You go to the rest of that wide receiver room. I mean, we're talking about a team right now that you got a bunch of 20-somethings right now. Tyquan Thornton, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. You've got a lot of those guys in your lineup. So if you want to see the old Chiefs offense come back, it's having explosive young players and those guys being in their prime and playing at a high level. And that's where we are right now discussing the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we are going to be joined by Jonathan Ketz of Fox 4. We're going to get his thoughts on the letter from the mayor of North Kansas City that they are having conversations with the Royals. Before that, we'll keep talking Sunday's game against the Raiders. We'll talk about the big 3 for the Raiders and how they've really let them down this season. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those Saturday showdowns. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Every play can change the game, so don't settle for ordinary this season. Feeling good about your college football parlay? Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
I love going to Hy-Vee, but I've got 2 kids in high school and life is busy. That's why I love the convenience of ordering my groceries with Hy-Vee's aisles online. It's easy. Just download the app or go to Hy-Vee.com. Then choose your store, select your items, and Hy-Vee will do all the shopping. All you have to do is pick up your order or have it delivered to you. Try it today. New customers get $10 off your first aisles online purchase with the code. Save time, save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee. Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
We know there's a lot that can go on during one night of baseball. Long home runs, epic pitching performances, catches that defy space, time, and gravity.
Climbing the wall. Did he catch it? He did!
But what if you could get all of that summarized in a quick, concise, and at least we think, funny podcast that's under 10 minutes? Check out MLB.com's morning lineup. It runs Monday through Friday mornings on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you love listening most.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Listen to the horns play.
Welcome back into the show. Text line 913-586-7965. In the open of the show today, I was talking about the Raiders rivalry, and it just feels like we've been recycling the same stories from the 90s for 25 years now at this point. Like, if you're 14 years old, or for some of you that have teenage kids, how do you really describe what Raiders Week was like in the 90s? Why do they dislike the Raiders? Now, maybe that's a very easy question, but I just think about it and why I think it's just different than a college rivalry. Rob, you have been to a recent Missouri game. You've been to a recent Missouri basketball game and football game. What's the big tradition that Missouri does during the game? And these are kids that don't know the rivalry the way that you and I know them. They don't have a reason to hate Christian Moody. They don't have a reason to hate Eric Chenoweth. What's the big thing that Missouri does now? What's their big thing?
During Mr. Brightside, they all do the FKU chant. I know KUK State's not at the same level. Have been to a KUK State game recently. They play Sandstorm, and they also chant FKU. That is just a thing that happens.
It's just different when it comes to colleges. Now, I understand. We're talking about college kids. We're talking about adults. We're talking about a very, very different environment. But the atmosphere around the rivalry in a professional sport is just, it has to be based on two teams fighting for the exact same thing. It's not the same as bragging rights as it is in college. It's not the same. I understand that Kansas is a better basketball program than Missouri, but you know what? Right now, I can say we beat you guys on the basketball court. You wear that around like a crown, like a sash. It's not really the way that you handle professional sports rivalries. It's about, can you win your division? It's about, can you make a deep run in the postseason? Can you win Super Bowls? So in some ways, it just feels to me that we have sort of outgrown Raider Week. It's Bills Week. It's Ravens Week. The Eagles are in town. I mean, this isn't one of the 5 most important home games that they have this season. It just doesn't have that same oomph the way that it did when we were all kids. Rob, before we catch up with Jonathan Ketz, who is going to give us his thoughts on the letter from the mayor of North Kansas City, let's talk about the Raiders specifically here. I thought the Raiders had a chance at being a pretty decent team. They were one of my sleeper teams. A major reason of why they were one of my sleeper teams was the foundation that they had created. There's no question they have taken a step forward at head coach. You had Antonio Pierce last year. You have Pete Carroll this year. We're talking about Pete Carroll as one of the best football coaches that we've ever seen. He won at the college level, created a dynasty. He then created a mini near dynasty in the professionals with the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll is fantastic. More experience, more seasoning, more accolades. He's a better coach than Antonio Pierce. They also made a significant upgrade at quarterback, we thought. Geno Smith this season has 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he's been sacked 18 times this year. Now, that's not all on Geno. Some of that's on the offensive line, and we'll get to that more when talking about Ashton Jeanty. But, Rob, problem number 1 with the Raiders is they paid for a certain level of production from their quarterback. That's not what they're getting. It's kind of the same question we had about Sam Darnold when Darnold left Minnesota and that infrastructure. Darnold has continued balling and looks like the same quarterback that played last year for the Vikings. Geno, this version of Geno is not the same one that played last year in Seattle. This Geno is bad. He's been one of the bottom 8 quarterbacks in the league, which has really highlighted a lot of the problems that the Raiders are having right now.
So here, I wasn't as bullish on the Raiders as you were this offseason, but I did subscribe to a lot of what you thought. Hey, a new coach, a new quarterback, they're not a good football team in 2025, but they're salty. They're a team you don't want to face if you don't have to. They're not the dregs of the league anymore. They're going to be, a better program, a better everything. There's going to be a culture. There's going to be structure and stability. I haven't watched every Raider game start to finish. I'm not pretending to have watched 6 games of 60 minutes of football from the Las Vegas Raiders. But, man, a lot of the problems they seem to have had in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021 with other coaches and other quarterbacks, and it seems like a lot of the same. Like, Pete Carroll is a great name, and everything you just said about Pete Carroll is correct. He might be the greatest college coach short of Nick Saban me and you have seen in our lifetime. What he did at USC was incredible, but at the end of Seattle and now in Vegas is tarnishing his reputation a little bit, because are the 2024 Raiders and 2025 Raiders different? I mean, the personnel is, but it looks like the same team out there. Like, I never thought the Raiders were going to come into Arrowhead and win, but if you had asked me in August, what's the betting line? I wouldn't have told you 11.5 or 12. I would have said Pete Carroll has a more respectable franchise than that. They are the same Raiders in Antonio Pierce as Rick Bisaccia, as any of those coaches. It just seems like they're churning out the same.
Yeah, I'm willing to give the Raiders a little bit more time in the big picture, at least when it comes to kind of building an offensive line. I still think Geno's a capable quarterback. Let's move to Ashton Jeanty. I know you're big on don't take a running back in the first round, but I certainly understand why a team fell in love with Ashton Jeanty and looked at him as being a transformative player. He's just been good. He has not been great. He has not been a guy that is in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's just been fine. Now, he is playing much better these last handful of weeks. He got off to a really slow start. You remember, so slow of a start that Ryan Clark was saying that he didn't see anything special in Jeanty. I'm not ready to say that after a handful of games, but I'm looking at his numbers. 105 carries, 424 yards. He's averaging exactly 4 yards a carry. He has 3 touchdowns. He's averaging somewhere around 70 yards a game. He's been fine. He hasn't been great, hasn't been bad, hasn't been disappointing, not calling him a bust. I do think a lot of it is related to the offensive line and the Raiders just not being very solid up front. But if the Raiders were going to be special, then Geno was going to need to be good. Geno has 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. If you were going to turn things around, if you were the Raiders, you spent the top 6 pick on a running back. he needs to be having a Todd Gurley-like rookie season. Like, he's a guy that we're really talking about, really making noise. I'm guessing a lot of you spent early picks on Ashton Jeanty because you thought he was going to be one of those kind of guys. He just ain't been one of those guys yet. And when it comes to pass catching, no disrespect to Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers, but those should not be your 1 and 2 pass catchers. You spent a high pick on Brock Bowers because Brock Bowers was a generational tight end prospect. I know he's dealt with injury this year. He's only played in 4 games. I don't believe that he's going to play in this one. So he's been banged up this season. But if you were telling me that Geno hasn't lived up to expectations, Ashton Jeanty hasn't lived up to expectations, and Brock Bowers has been banged up and just is having a down year, I mean, that explains why the Raiders are 2-4 right now and one of the bottom teams in the league.
Outside of Jeanty, who right now is a lot more sexy name than game, he's been fine. I don't want to say he's been bad, but he has not been as high as worthy of his draft pick. Man, this is my point about the Raiders being the same. At this point last year, their number 1 receiver was Jacoby Myers. I guess they had a healthy Brock Bowers at this point, and they also had Trey Tucker. Like, that was their team. Like, it feels like I wasn't as bullish on the Raiders as you were, but I feel like I had the wool pulled over my eyes a little bit when it comes to the Raiders because it's the same personnel groupings with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, and I think I got duped into believing.
You thought they were going to be what the Patriots are, basically.
100%. I thought it would be the same as a Mike Vrabel impact, and now their quarterback play was going to upgrade. But in reality, it's a quarterback who's turning the ball over at a Ryan Leaf rate, and a coach who seems to be running into all the same problems in Vegas, Oakland, wherever the Raiders have been during this tenure.
We'll get back to Chiefs and Raiders here coming up in a bit, but let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Jonathan Ketz. He is with Fox 4. He has been all over the conversation about the Truman Sports Complex and where the Chiefs and Royals could potentially land. So yesterday there was a letter from the mayor of North Kansas City, Jesse Smith, and he disclosed that he has been having conversations with the Royals, and those conversations have been very productive, and they are advancing, and it kind of mapped out some things that North Kansas City would like to see if they want to move forward with the Kansas City Royals. John, appreciate you popping on the show today, as always. You read this statement. I'm not sure if everybody has read this. What do you think this statement means?
Well, I think the biggest thing that came out was that North Kansas City felt like they were having substantial conversations with the Royals. How much does that mean? I'm not really sure. But I was kind of surprised. I was caught off guard by the statement when Rob texted me yesterday. I didn't even know that it had come out. It's interesting that they're kind of entering this chat or conversation because they have stayed so quiet about it. You know, Jesse Smith is new to the mayoral position. He was on the city council before he was mayor, but he has not wanted to comment on this situation. If we're able to get interviews, it's only been with people from Clay County. So I was surprised to see the North Kansas City mayor come out with a statement and a video that they put up on their social media page.
So let's just, I guess, start with this. How real do you think this is? This could be posturing. This could be something that's pretty legitimate. I feel like at least once every 2 months, once every 3 months, we get some development that tell us that something's happening, but we get a development that also tell us that nothing is immediate when it comes to this. How real do you think is the North Kansas City, Clay County location?
To me, I feel like if there is one of the teams that is more likely to leave the city limits, I think it's the Royals more so than the Chiefs. You know, somebody can disagree with me on that, but I also still feel like Kansas is in play for the Royals. I feel like what me and John Holt reported back in August, that there is a deal in the works for the Royals affiliate to take over 119th and Null. I think that's real. While that property is not in the hands of the affiliate, technically, I still think there is some sort of agreement that is in the works between Occidental Management in Wichita and the Royals affiliate that would allow them to take over ownership. Now, does that mean a stadium is going to go there? Not necessarily, but the Royals are still keeping their options open, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Royals left the city limits of Kansas City, Missouri.
So I guess let's just start with this. You tell me if you think I'm right or wrong just based on what you just said. I think we are down to 3 locations for the Royals. I think it's either the North Kansas City, Clay County, I think it's Washington Square Park, and I think it's 119th and all. Do you agree with that, or do you think there's another part of the city and the metro that the Royals could possibly land?
No, I think that's right. I tried. There was a long, in-depth ESPN article about the drama surrounding the Royals Stadium. That article came out like a month ago now. But I would agree that's what ESPN reported, and I feel the same way in talking to some of the people that I have over the last 3 years now.
Right now, we're talking to Jonathan Ketz, getting the latest when it comes to the Royals and what could possibly happen with the future of the Truman Sports Complex. So let's talk about the 119th and all site. I am a little bit surprised by this because I hear a lot of people that think that the Royals are moving to Kansas. You mentioned the possibility that the Royals could be moving to Kansas. I feel like everything is there, that if that's the decision that they wanted to make, they would have made it a long time ago. They already purchased the land. The deal from Kansas is not changing in any way. If that's the deal that you think is best and you feel comfortable with it, why do you think the Royals have been hesitant to lock in 119th and all?
That's a really good question. I wonder if it has to do with Occidental management being able to make a payment that they had to back in August. So technically the Royals affiliate hasn't taken over ownership yet, but that doesn't mean the Royals affiliate couldn't take ownership in the future. Keep in mind, I'm throwing this out there without having this locked down, but there are mayoral and city council elections in November in the city of Overland Park. If you are the Royals and you are the city of Overland Park, why would you want an announcement made before November 4th, which is, I believe, that Tuesday that those elections are on? Kurt Skoog has, I don't think, really wanted to talk about this conversation because he is likely going to beat his challenger, Faris Farasati, fairly easily. But we already know that Faris Farasati is against the stadium, and I think Kurt Skoog is much more open to this idea than Faris Farasati. So I am putting that out there with the idea that Kurt Skoog, if he has something in the works that people in his city don't know about, he's not going to want that made public before his election on Tuesday, November 4th, I believe.
Ketz, I get the feeling, and I'm not a Kansas person by any means, so maybe this is my Missouri bias that is shining through. I don't get the sense that people are really thrilled about the 119th and all location. I think people want it to be in Kansas for obvious reasons. You live over there, state pride, all of those things. But I don't really hear too many people that are really fired up about that being the location for the future Royal Stadium.
I think you're right, but I think the biggest advantage for the Royals at a ballpark at 119th and all is that you don't have to go to a vote of the people. Now, there will have to be some city council approvals prior to, that deal being finalized. But that is the one advantage that I think has kind of gotten lost with this North Kansas City announcement yesterday. So the other thing that I guess is important to note, like if the Royals are going to go into Clay County, they would have to win a vote of the people in the probably April election in Clay County. So Clay County would own the ballpark. North Kansas City would be a piece of it, but that election would have to happen in Clay County just like it had to happen in Jackson County back in April of 2024.
Ketz, could you see a scenario in which Clay County and Jackson County work together to keep the stadium in Missouri?
Kind of, but that would be more of a state of Missouri issue. Governor Kehoe called that special session this past summer, and the site was, as he called it, agnostic when it came to the stadiums for both the Chiefs and the Royals. We have never talked about Arrowhead Stadium being up in Clay County. We've talked about a Chiefs practice facility potentially being up there, but Governor Kehoe wants to keep both teams in Missouri, their stadiums. So the Chiefs Stadium, the governor's idea is that there's a renovation at Arrowhead. If the Chiefs stay in Missouri, it's a renovation to Arrowhead. If we're talking about the Royals, it's probably either a ballpark at Washington Square Park or it's a ballpark in Clay County, Missouri, in the city of North Kansas City.
Right now, we're talking to Jonathan Ketz for a couple of minutes. The mayor of North Kansas City said that he and the Royals are continuing conversations about possibly bringing a stadium to the Northland. Ketz, we talked about the site at 119th and all. Let's talk about Washington Square Park. I think if you polled the city on where would you like for the stadium to be, I think that would win the poll. It doesn't feel like there's been a lot of momentum in that direction. It feels like the idea was proposed 6-8 months ago, and it's never really come up again. What's happening with that?
So I think part of the problem may be whether or not the city could do all this by themselves. The mayor kind of made it sound like the city could do it all themselves this past summer. But, yeah, you're right. Like, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traction right now on that site. And I'm wondering if the Royals would rather have county sales tax dollars. But if you're going to have county sales tax dollars on the Missouri side, go to a stadium, it's going to require a vote of the people. And if the city can't give the Royals what they want, that may be why we have not heard a lot about Washington Square Park since this past summer.
John, we recently saw the recall for Frank White. Does that have any effects on the negotiations with the Royals and the Chiefs?
You know, I'm reading between the lines in something that Phil Lavoda told my colleague Malik Jackson yesterday. I think the Royals, at least in Jackson County, that scenario is more of a city endeavor. And Frank White kind of said as much this past summer before he got recalled. So I think that more so involves Mayor Quentin Lucas and more city-supported entities like the Port Authority and the Parks Department, which is a city entity. And I think the Chiefs situation, keeping them at Arrowhead, that would continue to be a Jackson County, Missouri piece of property. And that's why I think the Chiefs would be more involved with County Executive Phil Lavoda and the Royals. If they are going to stay south of the river in Jackson County, that would be more of a situation dealing with the city of Kansas City, Missouri themselves.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier that you would be surprised to see the Chiefs move out of city limits. I don't think you're talking about seeing them move outside of the Kansas City metropolitan area. I imagine that is referring to Kansas. Where are you at right now, I guess, percentage-wise? Percentage-wise, just the Chiefs do a renovation of their current structure or the Chiefs getting a new stadium in Wyandotte County?
I think I would not be surprised if the Chiefs are willing to go to the voters of Jackson County this April. And I don't think the Royals are that far. I mean, I do think that the Chiefs obviously want the Royals out of there so they can hold more concerts on days where there isn't a baseball game. I see the Chiefs more likely to stay than I do the Royals.
That is Jonathan Ketz of Fox 4 joining us on the show to talk about the statement from the mayor of North Kansas City about the potential that the Royals could end up moving there. Rob, I don't want to speak out of turn when it comes to Kansas business. I try to stay out of Kansas business, and I try to let them do their own thing. I just don't get the sense, and I could be wrong. I can accept that. I don't really get the sense that people are super excited about the 119th and all idea. I think people are excited about the stadium being in Kansas. I don't think people are excited about it being there in Kansas. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, yes, it's a fair assessment. I also think because that's really the only location in Kansas that we've heard of, like we haven't heard any real things about Legends. I think because that in general, the sentiment in Kansas is we'd like the Royals, but we don't want them there. So I guess we don't really want them that bad. That's kind of the sense I get. The feeling I get from Kansans, and when I talk to people about this, is the Chiefs are the big one. We want the Chiefs at Legends. And if we get the Royals, cool. We don't want them in Overland Park, but if we get them, they're a nice addition to the state. It feels like the Chiefs is Kansas' big goal. That's the way I've always felt about this.
No, 100%. I mean, the goal of this is to get the Chiefs to build a new stadium out at the Legends. And if they can't have that happen, they will take the Royals. It's kind of like when you decided what school you wanted to go to. You had your dream school, and then you had your plan B and plan C options, your fallback options. That's what it feels like the Royals are. I don't think the Royals are a fallback option when it comes to downtown Kansas City, neither North Kansas City. I mean, Rob, you've lived here long enough. North Kansas City has been waiting for a moment like this. They have been waiting our entire lives for a reason to get you to go across that bridge and go over there. They've done a really good job building it up. I don't live that far from there. I'm talking about Sail Away Wine. I'm talking about the good people over there at Screenland. I'm talking about Chapels. I mean, we're talking about an area on Armour Road that is really built up and is trying to give you a reason to go down there. You talk about putting a stadium anywhere around there and what it could mean for the local economy and those small businesses. So I certainly think that there is a push in North Kansas City. There is a push in downtown. Again, you guys tell me. I don't live over in Overland Park. 913-586-7965. I just feel like people in Kansas want the teams in Kansas, and there certainly is there's a defined spot for where people want the Chiefs to be. I don't know if that's the case when it comes to the Royals and where people want the Royals baseball stadium to be. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to Sunday's matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. But coming up, I'll give you our FanDuel Friday, some of my picks for this weekend. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
Looking for the ultimate spot to watch Sunday football? It's all happening at Brew Brothers inside Harris Casino, Kansas City. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you'll catch every game, every Sunday. So no matter who you root for, your team is always on. Add in ice-cold drinks, mouth-watering food, and a crowd that loves football just like you. And you've got the perfect game day atmosphere. Every snap, every score, every Sunday. Brew Brothers is football headquarters. Be there this weekend at Harris's Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
NFL Sunday's coming. You've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel's coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop. And now we're making it even better because this week FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This afternoon, expect a mix of sun and slight showers with a high of 84.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Hey, it's Rashee Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's get to FanDuel Friday. FanDuel Friday on the Draft is presented by FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. So we got a handful of really close, what we would anticipate being really competitive games. If you take a look at it, we got probably 6 games where the spread is less than 3 points. For example, Eagles on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. The Eagles are a 2.5-point favorite in this matchup. You continue to scroll down the FanDuel app. You have Browns and Dolphins. That's a 2.5-point spread. You got Panthers and Jets. That's a 1.5. Colts and Chargers is a 1.5. Commanders and Cowboys. Niners and Falcons. That's the Sunday night football game. So we got 5-6 games where they think the spread is less than 3 points. Rob, which of these games intrigues you the most as we head into this Sunday slate, this Sunday schedule? Which of those games that are basically coin flip games by Vegas's assumption, which game interests you the most?
First off, I wonder how much of these spreads being close is a product of what we saw the last couple weeks in the NFL. Like, outside of Chiefs-Raiders, we saw a lot of big spreads across the league. And the general rule of thumb has always been you don't get big spreads in the league. But now we had a few upsets, and now things are tightening up. So I wonder how much of that is at play. Honestly, the one that's more interesting to me about a close game, at least by Vegas' standards, is Eagles and Vikings. Because do you know what the Eagles are? Because I sure don't know what the Eagles are. I thought I had a grip on the Eagles, but now I have no idea. That team's on long rest after a bad loss to the Giants, and as much as I don't know what the Eagles are, I think I might understand the Vikings less. Carson Wentz, we presume, is going to start. I know J.J. McCarthy is back to practice this week. That game is in Minnesota. Minnesota's coming off a bye because they just had the international tour. Like, that game is interesting to me in the NFC because those are two teams that people thought could be near the top of the NFC. Maybe not the best in the NFC, but near the top. And they're kind of just in the same spot, scuffling around at 3-2, 4-2. That's a 2.5, 2-point spread, depending on where you bet. That's the game, and it's the same time as the Chiefs, so it might get moved to TV too, but it's the more interesting matchup to me among those close spreads.
It's funny because I would say we have that exact same game in the AFC as well. If you're saying that Eagles and Vikings is one of those games that you're keeping a close eye on, Colts and Chargers is that exact same game in the AFC. Coin flip kind of game. The Chargers are a very small favorite, a 1.5-point favorite in that matchup against Indianapolis. Now, I understand that Indianapolis probably can't really do much in the regular season for people to take them seriously. I mean, Daniel Jones is their quarterback and Shane Steichen is their head coach. Not really a Brady Belichick, one of those kind of long-standing coach and quarterback combinations. But if you're the Colts and you go on the road and you beat the Los Angeles Chargers and you're 6-1 and you're in that division, we got to start to have the conversation, is Indianapolis going to be the 1 seed in the AFC? I don't think people will presume them to be the best team in the AFC, but if you can go on the road and you can win that game, you then got Tennessee at home. We could be talking about them potentially being 7-1. You go on the road to play Pittsburgh, another coin flip kind of game. You play an international game against Atlanta, and then their schedule picks up a little bit on the road against Kansas City, on the road against Jacksonville, on the road against Seattle. So that's really going to be the telling stretch of the Colts this season. But by the time you go to Kansas City in late November, we could be talking about a team that's 9-2 at that stretch and very seriously in play to be the 1 seed, where the AFC, in theory, would have to go through Indianapolis.
That game is fascinating to me because you're right. I actually don't think that, there's anything gained, like public perception-wise, by the Colts winning. I think people are still going to view them as the Colts for all the reasons you said. But I actually think the opposite about the Chargers. If the Chargers go on the road in Indianapolis and they get that win without Joe Alt, or we presume they're not going to have Joe Alt. I haven't seen their injury report come out officially yet. But with a battered offensive line and a team that's been kind of struggling of late because of the injuries, you're going to start to see people talk about, Herbert and the Chargers are still that team again. They've fallen a little bit of hard times, but I think it's a perception-changing game for the Chargers way more than the Colts, which is weird because the Colts are kind of the bigger story, bigger narrative, bigger talking point. But I think this game is a perception changer for L.A.
Yeah, I just think that the Chargers, and we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, that the Chargers, the game that they lost to the Giants, they just don't win that game very often. Like, I can tell you a lot of Chargers teams that we get very high on, they have those 3 wins in the division. They then go on the road, they play the Giants, and they really just got handled in that matchup. Another game that I'm really looking at, it's the Cowboys and the Commanders game. With Philadelphia not being the overwhelming team that people thought they were going to be. I mean, right now, Philadelphia has a minus point differential. Now, it's -1, but, I mean, the numbers will tell you, man, Philadelphia just hasn't really been that impressive this season. And if you're Dallas, you have the tie, so that's not a loss, so that's going to factor in much later in the season. But if you win this game and you got to win against Washington, if you can figure out a way to shore up that defense, this is a team that can score. You're getting CeeDee Lamb back. George Pickens has played really well this season. Your run game is much better than people anticipated it possibly being. I'm not saying the Cowboys become some Super Bowl contending team, but right now the NFC just feels super wide open. Like, if you're telling me that Tampa's the best team in the NFC and they don't have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or Emeka Egbuka, then it is anybody's guess, whether it's Tampa Bay, Detroit, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Washington, Dallas, San Francisco, the Rams, you take your pick. The NFC doesn't feel solidified at all. So I'm not going to completely disregard the Cowboys if they can get that defense figured out, but they got a long way to go.
See, I've already discounted the Cowboys because I don't believe they're going to get that defense figured out. Rico Dowdle ran all over them last week. Bryce Young looked like the Heisman Trophy winner, and the Panthers, scored 30? The Panthers scored 30 against your defense. I know the Panthers are a weird team, but they put 30 on you? I can't take you seriously. You're right. That division's kind of up for grabs. It seems like no one wants to win that division. The Cowboys have no defense. The Commanders are in regression. The Giants are, interesting, but lose games to the Saints. And the Eagles just don't seem motivated to play well at all this season. It's a weird division, but I'm sorry. I can't take Dallas seriously if the big thing is, can they get their defense figured out? Well, you know what? They keep getting slashed and burned by teams like the Panthers. I can't think they're going to figure it out anytime soon.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to head to Las Vegas, Nevada to be joined by Scott Goldbranson. We'll get his thoughts on Chiefs and Raiders. Rashee Rice is back. Here he is talking about how excited he is to get back on the field.
I've been looking forward to this probably I think it's been like 380-something days I haven't played a regular season game, and despite the regular season, we still have a whole off season before that where we were training super hard to get ready for that prior season. So, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and the time's finally here.
What he says there at the end, I don't think you can kind of shortchange. We have been talking about their wide receiver unit now for a year and a half. The excitement heading into last year's training camp about having Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown. Now, we didn't know at that point that you have to throw Tyquan Thornton in the mix. Juju has gotten off to a very solid start so far this season, a player that has shown you great trust. Like, you can trust Juju Smith-Schuster. The fact that you're going to have all those guys healthy, all those guys available, is big for this team. This is the most amount of weapons. This is the most explosive the Chiefs' offense have been in 3 years. You'd have to go back to 2022, the year that Patrick Mahomes last won NFL MVP, I think, to really even come close to what we're talking about when it comes to their offense. You're talking about a wide receiver that was really starting to figure things out the end of his rookie year. He looked like he was posed to take that next step, heading into his second season, and then unfortunately he got injured. So we'll find out on Sunday how back he is, how healthy he is, what he can do, what he can't do. We'll see if the Chiefs have him on a pitch count, so to speak, and if they're going to limit his usage and try to ramp him up to get ready for that Bills game. It's sort of a game within a game. I don't think Rashee Rice is getting 80% of the snaps. I expect him to be a part of the offense. How a part of the offense, we'll have to see in Sunday's matchup. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to head to Las Vegas to be joined by Scott Goldbranson. I thought the Raiders had a chance of being a surprise team in the league. That has not happened. What's went wrong in Vegas? We'll find out together. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and Aprilaire, and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hello, Kansas City. Christopher Youngers here with Cafe Trio. The seasons, they are changing. And if you haven't seen Cafe Trio during the holidays, from Halloween, the Plaza Lights, and Christmas with all of our decorations, well, then you've missed out on one of the most seasonally spectacular dining experiences in town. Offering live music, very spirited holiday decorations, and farm-to-table fresh menus, Cafe Trio is the place to be for the holidays. 45th and Main, cafetriokc.com.
I don't sell lab-grown diamonds because they represent everything that can be bad about the jewelry industry and are the opposite of why my family is in it. This is Gene at House of Diamonds. I opened my diamond and custom jewelry shop to build relationships of trust with my customers. Prior to opening House of Diamonds, I worked at other jewelry stores and saw how that trust can be betrayed. And now I'm seeing it again with those who are selling lab-grown diamonds for thousands, nearly all of it profit, knowing that they are worth nothing the second they leave the store. So if you ever want to sell that lab diamond or want to trade up, you have literally nothing to sell or trade. That will never happen at House of Diamonds. We guarantee a trade-in value of 100% of the price you paid us for your hand-selected natural diamond. Don't become a lab-grown diamond victim. Learn more at mybigrock.com and then come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danny, and Kling on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Let's head to the phone lines right now to preview the Las Vegas Raiders with Scott Goldbranson of Silver and Black today. Scott, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good, my friend. Ready for an interesting game on Sunday, to say the least.
Absolutely. I'm taking the Raiders seriously because of this. You and I watched the National Football League. We saw the Browns beat the Packers a couple of weeks ago. We just saw on Thursday Night Football the Bengals, who looked dead in the water, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, the NFL is just weird right now. I don't know if you can automatically chalk up W's against anybody right now in the league. You really got to take it 1 week at a time. The Chiefs are obviously the better team between these two teams, but I'm not going to completely look past the Raiders because the moment you do that in this league, you get caught slipping.
You do, especially, I mean, look, like you said, the Chiefs, the better team right now, ascending their performance, getting Rashee Rice back this weekend. It points to all those directions. But you're right, the NFL is crazy. And if the Geno Smith the Raiders thought they were signing in the offseason shows up, and that offense under Chip Kelly, which hasn't been able to score more than 20 points all season, actually gets it in gear, then perhaps we'll have a game that'll be a lot more entertaining than just another blowout at Arrowhead, where I think the Raiders are now, 2-18 over the last 20 games, or two, I should say the teams are, record-wise, are at that clip. So I think that anything could happen here, but clearly a lot of things are going to have to go the Raiders' way, and a lot of things for the Chiefs are going to have to go south, I think, for it to be a close game that the Raiders might sneak away with a win.
So let's just start with, I guess, the power structure when it comes to this team, because a reason that so many people were optimistic about the Raiders, and I'll put myself in that category, is I thought they had weapons. I really liked the signing of Geno Smith. Ashton Jeanty, a legit weapon. Brock Bowers was going to develop into being the best tight end in the National Football League. That's really not how this season has kind of played itself out. Let's start with the quarterback. Geno has been bad so far this year. What's gone wrong for him?
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. One is he's got an offensive line that has been shaken around, and we'll get back to that in a second. But what Geno Smith, what you see him doing is you see him forcing balls into coverage. You see him throwing balls and forcing and really trying to pressure himself into making passes, but at the same time missing open receivers. He's not even seeing them down the field when he makes his read. So something's not right there for whatever reason. I don't know if it's pressure he's putting on himself, but he hasn't been the high completion percentage guy outside of week one when they beat the Patriots on the road. That looked like the Geno everybody thought they were signed up for. Now he just looks like he's struggling, not able to see the field as well as he could. He's got a great connection with Trey Tucker, the slot receiver, who's done a great job. And you mentioned Jeanty's doing well, even though he's getting contacted behind the line of scrimmage almost every time he carries the ball. So with Geno Smith, it's just the turnovers at the clip he's at right now, at 10 turnovers, he's on a pace to turn the ball over nearly 40 times via interception. That obviously can't continue. But Pete Carroll shows no inclination to switch out Geno Smith. They are loyal to each other, and until Geno Smith figures it out or doesn't, I think you're going to see a lot of the same. But it's certainly not going to be easier in Kansas City this week.
So let's talk about Ashton Jeanty. He got off to a little bit of a slow start. He's played a lot better these last 3 weeks. But if you look at his numbers, he's been good. He hasn't been special. I think a lot of the Raiders' hopes this season were based on him being a special, transcendent kind of back. And that's just not what he's been so far in the first 6 weeks of the season.
No, but I'll tell you, I think he will be, Carrington, because the problem with him was started off a little slow, as you mentioned, no question. Then he starts to get going, and two things here. One is, I talked about the offensive line earlier, not doing well. They switched the entire offensive line around, even though last year they were not a special offensive line, but they were middle of the road. They were getting better as the year went on. They come in, Jackson Powers-Johnson was a center. He won the Remington Award in college the year before as the best center in college football. So what do? What does Chip Kelly do? He moves him to right guard. And so they have a lot of issues up there. And Ashton Jeanty just hasn't had the ability. Like I said, 96% of his carries, he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, right? Now, the other thing is offense. They're not using him as they should. You put Ashton Jeanty in space. You go wide. You throw the ball to him on wheel routes. So not only can he run the ball, but he can catch the ball. He doesn't fumble. He's got great hands, and the Raiders the last 2 weeks have done a little more of that, and you've seen him do better. But clearly it's not jiving because they can't get the offense in the right direction because the core is not good and the quarterback has not been good.
Let's talk about Brock Bowers now. He's been dealing with an injury. What's going on with Brock Bowers? Are you expecting him to play on Sunday?
No, he's not going to play on Sunday. And remember, the Raiders have a bye after the Chiefs game, so they're trying to get him healthy. Clearly, he's one of those guys who can change the complete complexity of a game and really just go out there and take over. The problem is, after that first week, he hurt that knee. He wanted to play through it. And that was really perplexing as well because the coaching staff said, well, he bugged us to play. We probably should have sat him. Now they've lost him for an extended period of time, so I think there's a little bit of coaching malpractice there. But there's no question when Brock Bowers is out there, this team would be a lot different if Geno Smith could get him the ball. So we're not going to see him on Sunday, and the hope is that he comes back after that bye week. But there's also some chatter that they may end up shutting him down depending what happens over the next couple weeks, because if the Raiders are completely out of it, that's a talent you don't want to waste. You don't want to get out there and have him re-injured or make it more severe when he's got such a bright future ahead of him.
Right now, we're talking to Scott Goldbranson, who covers the Raiders with silver and black, getting you ready for Chiefs and Raiders at noon at Arrowhead. I'm looking at this Raiders defense. Do you think they're capable of slowing down Kansas City's offense? It feels like the old Chiefs offense is back. Maybe not the one we saw in 2018, but certainly the one that was around in 2022 when Mahomes won MVP. He's getting Rashee Rice back. He got Xavier Worthy back a couple of weeks ago. This team is running the football effectively. Their offensive line feels like it's solidified. This is a Chiefs offense that can really strike from all parts of the field. Do you feel like the Raiders can match up with that?
I think it's going to be a real tough day for them. Could they break through on some things? Yes. I mean, obviously Max Crosby is who he is, but when you're being double-teamed every down, it's really difficult to get free. They haven't really shown anything up front against better teams to where it makes you think, well, they're going to be able to break through and pressure Mahomes more to make him unsettled so that he can't distribute the ball so well as he's done. And then the defensive backfield, Carrington, if you're a Raiders fan, this could be a nightmare game because they just don't have the horses back there right now. They have Kyu Blu-Kelly, a young guy who's been one of the most targeted and yielded the most yards of any cornerback in the NFL. He's a good player. He needs to develop. But because they have no depth, they are really reliant on him and a rookie sitting behind him, Darian Porter, which I think the Chiefs will see a lot more of. But with Rice back, with the way Worthy's going, the way that Patrick Mahomes is distributing the ball, it's going to be really tough for this defense to match. The matchup is just not good right now with what they have on the field.
This is where I am, Scott, when talking about this rivalry. I certainly respect the history, the long-standing history between these teams, between these two organizations. But at this point, at least for the Chiefs, beating the Raiders is not a big deal. Losing to the Raiders is a big deal. You mentioned the two losses that Mahomes has. We remember them very vividly. One of those times, the Raiders drove their bus around the stadium. The other one was on Christmas Day. But when you think about Chiefs wins over the last few years or so, there's not many that really stand out.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. You were on my show earlier in the week, Carrington, and a lot of Raider fans were not happy with what you said. But my challenge to them was, what did Carrington say that was incorrect? And the truth is nothing. You're right. When you're talking 2-18, when you're talking the fact that, yes, the old rivalry, the history, you're right. You respect it. It was great. At one time, this is really heated. But now it's sort of like, well, when one team is always good and the other team is always not good, it gets really difficult to get up for it. Now, Raider fans are obviously up for the game much more than I think Chiefs fans are, to the point you made, which is it's not a big win. You expect the Chiefs to win this game. You expect the Raiders to lose it. So, of course, for one side, it's going to be, quote-unquote, a rivalry. For the other one, not so much. Remember, I grew up a Padres fan where I always thought the Dodgers were our rivals, and guess what? The Dodgers couldn't care less about the Padres until recent years, so I fully get it.
That is our guy, Scott Goldbranson, joining us on the show today with Silver and Black today, getting you ready for Chiefs and Raiders. Scott, I appreciate your time as always, my man. I'll catch up with you down the line.
Absolutely. Thanks, my friend.
Of course, that is Scott Goldbranson joining us on the show today. I really thought the Raiders had a chance to be a good team this year. I mean, I fell for it. I liked the addition of Geno. Genty gave them a legitimate weapon. Brock Bowers. I thought the defense was going to be a little bit better than what we've seen so far with Pete Carroll there, having an adult in the room, so to speak. I thought the Raiders had a chance to kind of be that 9-7 team, kind of like what the Broncos were last year, a team that ended up making the postseason. The Chargers look like they potentially have taken a step forward. The Broncos feel like they may have taken a step forward. Kansas City, I don't think they've taken a step forward from where they were last year, not from a record standpoint, but they certainly feel like they could be a much more complete team, certainly a team that's better equipped offensively than they were a year ago. And the Raiders are just, they've been the Raiders. Coming up on the other side, we'll continue to talk more about the Chiefs and Raiders rivalry, the rivalry between these two organizations. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at The Other Place. We got a very exciting weekend, so it doesn't matter if you're watching the college, doesn't matter if you're watching the pros, doesn't matter if you're watching playoff baseball. This is a very exciting time in the sports calendar, and a perfect place to go celebrate that is with our friends over at The Other Place. They got incredible game day specials on Sunday. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for $12, $8 wings and a basket of tots, $4 domestic OP cups. You also, today, if you want to go stop by, get yourself a $6 appetizer, also a Busch Light Tall Boy. You know that Rob, he loves himself a Busch Light Tall Boy. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind game day experience, the next best thing to being out to the stadium, if you don't plan on going out there on Sunday, then you need to plan on going to The Other Place.
Tired of paying big city prices? Head to New Century Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Payola, where honest, good people are ready to help you save. No fancy city overhead, just real savings. Looking for a new Ram, Jeep, or Dodge? Or maybe a quality used vehicle? Their selection is online and ready to browse. And the best part? New Century is only a 20-minute drive south of the city, and you can save thousands just by coming down. New Century Ram, Jeep, Dodge. Remember, you'll always pay less in Payola, and always deal with good people you can trust.
Are you ready to fire up your Saturdays? Well, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. Here's how it works. Each week, we're giving everybody a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everybody gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams every Saturday with an extra payout on the line. It's fun. It's easy. It's only on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com. Use the promo code KFNZ to get started on the app. And check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on the action. And remember, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boostin' with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost. Tokens restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for over 45 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years. And I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
No.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or lewisburgford.com.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at Depend.com.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Missouri side, 9 highway both directions under construction between 635 and 169 highway. Some intermittent slow spots in through there for you. And then Kansas side, 70 eastbound, still slow rolling approaching 435 with construction taking away the left lane. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Someone texted in, C-Dot, I mean this with all due respect, but I don't think that Raiders fans are fans of the actual team. They're more fans of the brand and the image. I don't really know if that's a fair thing to say because they moved to a place that just doesn't really have an identity with the professional sports team. It's not a part of a community the way that it was. Like if you've been to Oakland, you know how proud people are from Oakland to be from Oakland. Just like you're proud of being from Kansas City, just like people, I imagine, who are from Cleveland are very proud to be from Cleveland. When you've removed them from that place and now you've put them into a tourist attraction, that's where they play now. They played a tourist attraction. If you're a team and you're planning on watching your team play in a road game, it's the easiest road game that you can go watch your team play. Vegas is the easiest place to take a vacation to. Cheap flights there all the time, plenty of hotel space. You don't need a car. Easy. You don't got to do much. So you go from removing the Raiders from a place that cared very deeply about them, where I do think the love of the football team, the brand, and the image all kind of came together. Now, what's the Raiders' brand? What's their image? I've been to Allegiant a couple of times, and they have this big, you've seen it, they have this big, everlasting torch. that's kind of really symbolic. It's just the ghost of Al Davis and what they used to be just hangs over everything that they do now. Al Davis gave them an image, something to grab a hold to. Hey, we're the bad boys, the renegades of the league. The league doesn't like us. What's the Raiders' image now? They're not the dirty, hit you after the whistle team that they were when we were kids. They're just a bad football team, and they've been a bad football team for 20 years. They have one person that you even feel any kind of emotion towards. They have one person that you feel emotion towards. That's Max Crosby. And Max Crosby, I mean, he's not a bad player. I don't think he's a dirty player. He's just he's a defensive lineman. Those guys got to play with the mean streak. They got to play with the nasty streak. You kind of know where that comes from. So I just think the Raiders are very blah. The Raiders used to be a thing back in the day. Maybe one day they'll be a thing. Things turn around in the National Football League, but I don't know what the Raiders' image is in 2025. I don't know what their brand represents in modern times. I know what it used to represent. That used to be a place you'd be afraid to go to a road game. You didn't want to sit in their fan section. Rob, how often, or is there another group in the National Football League that their fans have a section and a name to it? That's not a thing in 2025. Those are things that are just lost from the Raiders and part of what made them such a special franchise. All right, Rob, I asked you for a homework assignment. I want to go through some of the historic rivalries that we have in sports, whether it's college or pros, and let's just play, are these rivalries better today or back in the day?
All right, Carrington, let's go through some of the iconic rivalries across the sports landscape. Full disclosure, these are the ones that people talk about. I'm not going deep, hardcore. Oh, can you believe Vikings and Packers didn't make it? No one talks about Vikings and Packers. Let's start with the biggest rivalry maybe in all of sports, and it starts in college basketball. No, I'm not talking about Darren Peterson versus the haters. I am talking about North Carolina and Duke basketball, Carrington. Was that rivalry better today or back in the day?
I mean, back in the day, just because of the simple fact of we used to know players on both of the teams. Rob, there was a point in your life where you knew the starters on both of these teams, all 10 players. We were talking about 7 of these guys were going to play in the NBA, and the 3 that weren't going to play in the NBA, they were going to be all-time college players that you hated. That's not the case today. Rob, other than Kyan Evans, who's a player on North Carolina? I only know Kyan Evans because he went to high school 25 minutes away from where you went to high school.
I have no idea another player on Carolina.
See what I mean? Back in the day, you used to know Jerry Stackhouse, Antoine Jamison, Tyler Hansborough, Sean May, Rashad McCants. You don't know anybody on these teams. Every college basketball rivalry was better back in the day than it is today.
To be fair,
every single one.
Outside of the Boozer twins, can you name a Duke player? I can name one. Malik Brown.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
who returned this year. He was the only guy. All right, Carrington, continue looking at rivalries and are they better of yesteryear or today? Let's stick in basketball. Let's go to the pro game, though. Lakers and Celtics, better yesteryear or today?
That's a good question. I'm going to go with yesteryear only because that rivalry is great because we saw them play in so many great NBA finals. Like, that's where the rivalry really comes from. I mean, either Bird or Magic played in every finals in the 80s. Think about that. Every finals that we had in the 80s, it either included Magic Johnson or it included Larry Bird. That's not the case today. Now, if the Lakers and Celtics ended up playing each other, it would be a big deal. Remember, that happened when Kobe was a Laker. He ended up playing the Celtics in a championship, and that was a really big deal that he ended up playing the Celtics in a championship. But I'm just going to go with no yesteryear just because those two, like, we're not talking about 1-2 every year, those guys. It's not like it was Cleveland and Golden State in the mid-2010s where you knew every year at the beginning of the season, best team in the Western Conference, best team in the Eastern Conference, they're going to meet up.
I will say, as I was putting this thing together, I did not count Cleveland and Golden State as a rivalry because it was a finals thing. I'm saying
that's how the
Correct.
Lakers and Celtics used to be there. There was a 4-year stretch of why we even have the NBA regular season. Let's just fast forward to we know who's going to be in the finals.
You can answer if you want. I did not put Bulls and Knicks on this list because I feel like that's an obvious yesteryear. Do people still care about Bulls and Knicks? Like that's a no thank you, moving on.
That was just a Michael Jordan. That's a little different.
Michael Jordan versus people that hated losing to Michael Jordan.
That was just a Michael Jordan.
All right, Carrington, let's pivot now to college football. Was Ohio State, Michigan better back in the day, or is Ohio State, Michigan better today when you watch that game?
You know what? I'm going to argue that I think it's the exact same. I actually don't think that it's really changed. I think the fact that last year Ohio State won the national championship but didn't beat Michigan, where in every other version of college football, Ohio State is ineligible for winning the championship because they lost that game. That Michigan can kind of go around and say, sure, you guys won the national championship, but you guys still couldn't beat us. The fact that Michigan has dominated them these last handful of years, you had Harbaugh, the quotes that he would say about Ryan Day, even this season, we look at Ohio State like they could maybe be the best team in college football. They might not win the Big Ten because potentially they could lose to Michigan. So I actually think this rivalry is unchanged. I think this rivalry matters the same in 2025 that it did in 1995.
One last college football one before we move away from that sport. One that was hotly contested as a topic on national sports shows recently. Oklahoma, Texas, Carrington. Is the Red River rivalry better now or back in the day?
I'm only going to argue it was better back in the day because both of the teams were better. You remember, in those early 2000s, Oklahoma was the best team. Texas might have been the second best team. And you knew that game was going to be physical. When you think about some of the great defensive players, some of the great quarterbacks, two iconic coaches with Stoops and Mac Brown. Yeah, that early 2000s from like 99 to like 2007, the Red River rivalry was maybe the best game in college football on a year-in, year-out basis. So I'm going to go back in the day just because Oklahoma's not the same program they were in 2000. Neither is Texas. They've been very good. They made the playoff last year. But Texas, in my opinion, they don't carry that same cachet that they did back in 2005 with old Colt McCoy as the gunslinger. What's a perfect name for a college quarterback? Colt McCoy.
That conversation heated up when I believe it was either Michael Wilbon or Tony Kornheiser on PTI said no one cared about that game anymore. So I was curious to get your opinion. All right, Carrington, let's pivot to Major League Baseball. Games that used to last 17 hours between these rivals. I'm talking, of course, about Yankees and Red Sox back in the day or now.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of those back in the day. You used to know people on both teams. No, this is a back in the day for both of those. Great rivalries. You are right. Those games used to take 4.5, 5 hours. Why are we still playing baseball at this point? You remember whenever Pedro Martinez knocked Don Zimmer down? Remember that? He was running at him, and he just grabbed his head and slung him to the ground. An old Irish takedown. That was much better back in the day. There was a point where that was maybe the best rivalry in all of sports. There was a short period of time where that was the case. We had Schilling with the bloody sock, the comeback, breaking the curse of the Bambino. Yeah, no, there was a time where this was the biggest rivalry in sports.
I feel like the average sports fan might know the Red Sox and Yankees played in the postseason this year.
No, you don't know it like how it was back then.
But back in the day, it was like I didn't care about the Red Sox or the Yankees, but watching that series was near appointment television. The down 3-0 to break, it was much, much better back in the day. All right, Carrington, our final one heads back to the NFL. I'm talking not about Chiefs and Raiders, but another rivalry born out of success. Let's head to the NFC. Is Niners and Cowboys better now or back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day, the Cowboys are trash. Back in the day, I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want to play this game no more. I'm done.
You just told me that the Cowboys are interesting. Keep an eye on the Cowboys.
Interesting and in the middle of a dynasty are two different things. Yes, the Cowboys are interesting. Like if the Cowboys were on, I'd watch them. They're entertaining. Their offense can score. They're going to give up a lot of points. I mean, the games are going to be good. They're going to be close. They're going to be fun. I'm not going back to Niners Cowboys, especially after watching that documentary. I mean, you talk about the great players on both teams. I mean, Irvin, Aikman, Charles Haley, Dion on both teams, Steve Young. I won't be talking about on this team. Not at all. So, no.
You
definitely better.
You don't wax poetically about that one time Mike McCarthy ran a quarterback draw and couldn't get the kickoff and they lose to the Niners. Like, you don't wax poetically about watching that one on television?
Yeah, no, I just not the case. Someone on the text line says, let me find this real quickly. It just refreshed. C-Dot, the new generation of sports rivalries are way too soft. All the old school rivalries are better. I don't really know if that's the case. I mean, it is the case in some aspects, but I just think the rivalries just change. Like, Chiefs and Bills is the exact same as Patriots and Colts. It's the exact same. We just remember it differently because we were 15, 16 coming up when this happened. But every time the Chiefs and Bills play each other, it's a very exciting game. Every single time that's the case. You remember those Steelers and Ravens rivalries. Like, you had to bring your hard hat for those games. That's still the case, I think, when it comes to a lot of those games. I just think the rivalries change and evolve in professional sports over time. And rivalries usually are based off, there aren't many villains in sports today, the way that there were when you and I were coming up. Maybe it's social media, the climate has changed in society, but like, how many villains would you say there are in the National Football League? And I'm not talking about you did something off the field and now people don't like you because you did something off the field. I mean, like, we grew up with like a Bill Romanowski type, just a dirty linebacker that just people don't like. Who's that player now in the NFL? We just had a lot of those kind of people now. Those guys just don't exist anymore in sports. And I don't know if it's the money has just gotten too big, whatever it is, but I think a lot of that, the rivalries have changed is they're just not like, who on the Raiders do you dislike? Max Crosby, yeah, but I just, is there anybody else on the team you don't like?
I mean, no. I don't know if that's free agency or what. There's no one on this Raider team, and even Max Crosby, I would tell you the average Chiefs fan doesn't like Max Crosby, but it's not like Max Crosby has ever done anything. Like, I bet if you went out to the Plaza right now or Power and Light or wherever, a bunch of Kansas Cityans are, congregating, and you ask them, who do you hate more, Jamar Chase or Max Crosby? I bet you good money that Jamar Chase is way more hated by Chiefs fans than Max Crosby. That's not how it used to be when we were kids. Like, I hated Tyrone Wheatley. You know why? He was a Raider. There's no reason to hate him other than being a Raider. That's not really a thing with people in the Raiders anymore.
I was actually thinking this, and I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on this. 913-586-7965. Rob, you know how people talk about this hypothetical cookout that people get invited to? Have you ever heard of this before? Like, somebody will do something, and then the sentiment will be, well, that person's invited to the cookout, I was thinking, I think Max Crosby would be invited to the cookout. Travis Kelce also would be invited to the cookout. I mean, you might have the number 1 and number 2 overall pick when it comes to invited to the cookout. Why wouldn't you want to hang out with Travis Kelce? I mean, nice-looking guy. He's stylish. He's dating the most famous woman in the world. Seems like he can cut a rug a little bit if need to. Travis Kelce would be a perfect person to bring to the cookout. Max Crosby seems like he has a lot of those same characteristics. Is there anybody else that you would put on the list as like a guaranteed, they get a stamp, they get a pass, they get an invitation to the cookout? Rob, do you think you're invited to the cookout? Do you think that you would get one of these invitationals for this hypothetical cookout?
That's a great question. I like to believe I'd be invited, but I think I'm a fringe. I think I'm into the list. I think if in a sense of maybe it's like you're having a big party or like a wedding and you're starting to dole out invitations. I'm not one of the locks. You're not writing my name in pen, but I think I'm in pencil. I think I make it just by the skin of my teeth. I think it's close though. I think I make it though.
I think the only way you go to the picnic is if you're my +1. Like, if you're my +1 that I vouch for you. Like, you remember we were at the Mizzou tailgate, and this is a true story. Rob can attest to this true story. So we were at the KUMU game. Rob was behind enemy lines. I was at Mizzou tailgate. Rob came over. You already know Rob just decked out in all his KU stuff on. I mean, he had some vintage KU stuff on. He had like a hat from like 1985. It looked like something Danny Manning wore to the Final Four back in '88. And all the Missouri fans, they were kind of side-eyeing Rob and his wife. They really were kind of side-eyeing him.
To be fair, not to interrupt, it didn't help that you walked over, handed me a beer, and walked away. So it looks like I showed up and stole their beer. It was not a good optics moment for me.
So then somebody from the Mizzou cookout came over and was like, who are you here with? Like Rob was an intruder. And then I looked at the gentleman and said, hey, he good? The guy looked at me again. I was like, yeah, he's fine. And then Rob and the guy started taking pictures and laughing, and they were just having a great time after this. That's how I think you would have to be in the cookout. I'm already in the cookout. I'm hanging on. Trust me, the music and the food is incredible at this cookout. And then, Travis Kelce can come, Max Crosby can come, and you can be my +1 at this cookout.
That's fair. I think I make the cookout light years ahead of Cody and Gold, though. That I can, have that feather in my cap.
Okay, that's a fair point. Someone says Jackson Dart would be invited to the 100%. Cookout.
That's a great answer. Jackson Dart's definitely invited.
Can I nominate Christian McCaffrey? I like Christian McCaffrey. I want Christian McCaffrey at the cookout.
Just because you like him doesn't mean
I think he should be invited to the cookout. He's invited to the cookout. You actually might want to know this. Nick Bosa actually called the police on the cookout and asked for them to shut it down. He said, no, it's too much. It's too much is going on.
Is George Kittle invited?
Oh, for sure. George Kittle's absolutely. You want to know who's throwing the cookout is Rob Gronkowski. Gronk's throwing the cookout. A great time.
Probably in the tight end sphere. I think Greg Olsen makes it too.
Oh, for sure. He had a rap.
I'm going to say, from his time at Miami alone, Greg Olsen is in.
Yeah, he had a rap. We're absolutely. Drew Lock. We can invite Drew Lock to the cookout. I got no issues with Drew Lock. Do you think Ladd McConkey's coming to the cookout?
That's a great question. I think I lean yes on Ladd McConkey.
I don't know.
It's close.
Yeah, he might have to pass a background test. I don't know. I don't know enough about Ladd to know if he's allowed at the cookout. I'm not 100% certain. Oh, somebody said Cooper DeJean. Oh, of course. We'll definitely let Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean he's over there running threes right now on the basketball court, 3-on-3. I saw him do a windmill. Yeah, for sure. He's absolutely invited to the cookout. I want to read this text to you guys. I guess his tweet to you guys really quickly. So Andrew Filipponi is, I would say, one of my best friends in this sports media space. I got a lot of respect for Pony. He's given me great career advice over the years. I like Andrew Filipponi a lot. I genuinely think the Pony is one of the best sports talk hosts in the country. So Pony did this thing that people do that I don't really understand. I don't understand why people on Twitter make bets against themselves. It's one thing if Rob and I make a bet. I'm a Mizzou fan, he's a KU fan. Hey, if my team wins, you got to do this. If your team wins, I got to do this. Like, both of us got a skin in the game. I don't really know why people go on social media and then just say, well, if my team loses, I'll do this. Well, then what do you get if you win other than I was right? There's no other benefit that comes with, oh, I was right. No one gives you a lot of credit for being right in this business. I know it stinks. I give you guys opinions all the time. I've been right about a lot of things. You guys don't ever bring up the things I was right about. You only bring up the things I was wrong about, and I'm fine with that. That is the deal that I've made with you guys. But being right, very underrated in this business because no one cares when you're right. So Pony, my dear friend, my brother, he tweeted out yesterday at 2:12, there's no way the Steelers lose Thursday Night Football. In fact, I'll get my nipples pierced with no numbing agents if they lose this game. It ain't happening. Now, again, I don't know why you would put this bet out there because if you're right, what do you gain from it? You only have something to lose. No one is patting you on the back for the Steelers beating the Cincinnati Bengals. But if they lose like they did, now you getting your nipples pierced, which just doesn't sound like a fun experience. I don't know if you guys have them pierced. I'm not here to judge anybody. I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any piercings. I'm not optionally signing myself up for something that sounds like it gets hurt. I tell you guys this all the time. One of my biggest fears in life is being tased. I don't care what's going on in life. I could be having a calm brunch, and if the police officer comes up and says, hey, you need to get up and start sparking that, hey, tell me where you need me to go. I don't want to get tased. I don't want to sign up for anything that sounds like I could possibly get hurt. So you guys now know how this story goes. The Steelers lost. And now 3 million views of this tweet have gone by. You got to do it now. You didn't have to do this. Well, here's the update.
All right, let's set the record straight. The entire sports world is talking about, of all things, my nipples So here's the deal. I am a man of my word. I am going to get my nipples pierced. When it happens, how you can watch it, how you can be a part of it, all that stuff is going to be discussed at 2 o'clock on the show today. But believe me on this. I'm not getting off scot-free. I'm not buying my way out of this. I'm not welching on a guarantee or bet. Mike Tomlin did this to me, and I'm never going to forget it. And I'm going to have a permanent marking on my body to remind me at all times not to trust his defense and his team in certain situations. But it's going to happen, and you're going to learn more and find out more about it at 2 o'clock today. 93.7 The Fan, 93.7thefan.com, the Odyssey app, the 93.7 The Fan YouTube page. Talk to you at 2.
Pony. My brother, I wouldn't have done this. There was never a time in my life that I thought I'd be scrolling social media and I would see Andrew Filipponi with his shirt up and tweeting out, "I'm preparing to get pierced." I just never thought that was going to happen in our relationship. Not once. I mean, I have a picture on my refrigerator. Pony is in the picture. We're all taking a picture. We're at Nick Wright's wedding. I really like Pony. Pony, this is what it sounds like to me. You know, you my brother. It sounds to me like you kind of wanted to do this and wanted an excuse now to be able to do it. Like you were kind of thinking about it. You wanted to do it. And you were like, hey, I'll do it. Like, bro, if that's what you wanted to do, nobody's judging you. We don't care. But there ain't no way I'm waking up and I'm looking down. And now it feels painful. It sounds painful. It looks, everything about it just sounds like an experience that I want absolutely nothing to do with. Coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we'll be joined by Nate Taylor of ESPN. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Damon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane and Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those Saturday showdowns. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Every play can change the game, so don't settle for ordinary this season. Feeling good about your college football parlay? Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at Depend.com.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The multi-car crash down south on 435 westbound. It's at Metcalf, and 2 left lanes are blocked. Big backups in that area. The next wreck, 49 northbound, the on-ramp from 150 highway is blocked. Right lane stopped on 49 northbound. That's a 2-car crash. And I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
You know what? We're going to do something, but I can't remember the last time that we did this. But I am just guessing that some of you have Rashee Rice on your fantasy football team. And now you don't know what to do. Should you play him? Should you sit him? Well, you know what? We got an expert. Bob Harris, he is with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 on Sirius XM. He is going to answer our question for us. Bob, happy to have you on the show today. So you just know the scenario. You obviously know Rashee Rice has not played the first 6 games of the season. He was injured last year. He's back against the Las Vegas Raiders. What would you do in fantasy if you had Rashee Rice?
I would be eagerly playing him, Carrington, eagerly playing him. I know football guys where I work will find him as wide receiver 8 on our projections this week. We're playing on a back. And if you saw the reporting by Jeremy Fowler earlier this week, the Chiefs won't be easing Rice back into action. They're allocating a heavy workload for him as soon as possible. Had practice this summer. He's practiced the last week. I'm thinking it's all good to go here. This is the thing we've been waiting for. The Chiefs offense has been rolling the last few weeks. Loved it last week, but they haven't had the key piece. The missing ingredient is now back. It's time to cook with Rice.
What does this mean for the remainder of the offense from a fantasy perspective? Because if he's going to be on the field, he's getting usage and targets. That's taking food off of somebody's plate. Who are you worried about now in fantasy?
Yeah, I think, well, maybe a little bit about Travis Kelce, although this week against the Raiders, he has a great history against them. But look over the last 13 games. Rice has averaged 9 targets, 9.1, has 7 catches, 82.8 yards, half a touchdown per game. Over 17-game season, that pace would put him on track for 155 targets, right? 122 catches, 1,400 yards, and about 8 touchdowns. So that'd be like a top 5 season. The way Patrick Mahomes is playing right now, I don't know that I would dial back on Xavier Worthy. I think his role will still like this is the Brett Veach, plan, right? We wanted to have the deep threat in Worthy. We wanted to have an intermediate guy who can handle things out halfway down the field in Hollywood Brown. And then you have Rice, collecting things in the short and intermediate game and lighting people up. So I'm still playing Worthy like he's like a wide receiver 2 level guy, maybe wide receiver 3, which would be 24 to 36 on the list of players. So I like that, and the way they've been playing using the passing game, the short passing game, to help with the running game not being on point has been very effective. That also works in Rice's favor.
Where do you have Rice in your rankings? You just mentioned where you had Xavier Worthy. Where do you have Rice this week?
I have Rice. So with the projections at footballguys.com, they're a little more optimistic than I am. They have him at wide receiver 8. I have him at wide receiver 14. I'd rather, but look, these are linear rankings. He's in that tier of being, a sure starter for me. I have him, as a wide receiver 2 in any 12-team league. But if he finished as a wide receiver 1 this week, it wouldn't surprise me. Also, if he gets off to a slow start. I mean, it's understandable. He hasn't played for a while. But I think the expectation is, we're playing a range of outcomes. You know this, Carrington, as fantasy managers. We're playing probabilities. And based on his role in the offense, the time that he spent this summer working with the offense, and the way the offense has been functioning without him and could function with him, I'm super excited about this. And I think probably there's no fantasy manager who's going to say, I'm going to take a week and let's see what happens, right? I think we're all eager to get a piece like that, especially as we head into week 7. Tons of attrition on all our teams. There's buys going on, although it's kind of like this week, just 2 teams. But, man, I think it's going to be a great thing. And I mentioned, you look at the passing game last week. Patrick Mahomes had just 1 attempt of 20 yards or more. He completed 17 of 21 for 164 yards, and all 3 of his scores on short as 0 to 9-yard passes or behind the line of scrimmage passes. And this is an area Rice is going to feast on. His run after the catch ability is going to set him up, assuming he's the same guy. And I think that's where we're at. We're excited to see it. And I'm also excited to see Patrick Mahomes back in the ranks of true NFL or fantasy quarterback ones. I know, it's a little controversial for me to say, but the last couple of years I felt like he wasn't that because they lean more heavily on the run. He's always been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a difference in the NFL and fantasy, and now he's back to being one of the best quarterbacks in both angles for me.
That is Bob Harris joining us on the show today. He's with Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 87. You can catch him every Sunday as they are going through every team, every matchup, telling you who should start, who should sit, who the sleepers are, getting you ready for a great weekend when it comes to fantasy football. Bob, great stuff, man. Appreciate you popping on today.
Anytime, Carrington. Thanks a lot, man.
Absolutely. That's Bob Harris joining us on the show today. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information. I imagine a lot of you in your fantasy leagues, you grab Rashee Rice. You've been patient these first 6 weeks. I want to help you guys out. I want you to know how to handle it this week when it comes to him. Rob, someone on the text line very mad at you. Hey, Rob, how come you haven't mentioned anything about KU late night at the Fog tonight? They gave you 3 question marks. That lets you know that they mean business. Is late night a thing if you're outside of college? This seems like something for the locals and for the college students. And I'm not saying that as a knock. Rob, as a season ticket holder that lives in Kansas City, you would drive to Lawrence for their late night at the Fog?
I agree with you. I think actually I'd add another group. I think it's for college kids, recruits, and I think it's for people who can't go to the games regular. Like if you have a little one, if you have an 8-year-old and you can't get to a regular game at Allen, tonight's a fun night for you.
That's fair.
That's a nice little event, but I go to like 18 games a year. I don't need to see them do a sketch. I want to see them play basketball. I will wait for that moment.
Yeah, I mean, even then, if you got the 8-year-old, just watch them in a couple of weeks when they play Pittsburgh State. It's gonna be
That's true.
It's gonna be $5 to get into the game. You know,
and next
$6.
Next week they play an exhibition on television against Louisville. Just watch this. I'll wait and I'll watch them play a real game.
They play them in Louisville.
It is in Louisville, yeah.
Okay. So I imagine the next year they would host the scrimmage then, right? Next year?
Yeah, this is back-to-back years they haven't hosted a scrimmage because last year they were in Arkansas.
I don't know why this isn't more of a thing in college basketball. I don't know why more teams don't do this. Just have a scrimmage and charge people to come to it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, just have a scrimmage.
I think it is becoming more and more a thing. Like next week, K-State plays Missouri in a scrimmage. Like,
for sure.
These are they're events you can go watch. Now, the Mizzou K-State one is at 9 o'clock in Columbia, but either way, it's starting to become more and more of a thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you got the SEC winner and, you know, K-State's going to be a very good team. Who's the musical performer for late night this year? You guys bringing Snoop Dogg back?
I actually don't know who the musical performer is tonight. I bet I could look it up.
Let's look it up. Who do you think that it is? This feels like a Flow Rider to me. That's what it feels like. It feels like a Flow Rider.
I feel like Flow Rider was last year.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the person is. Who's the musical guest for you guys this year? Oh, they're going to have dueling DJs at the end for a student-only dance party is what they're having.
See, it's for this. You know what? I'm 35. You know what I don't want to be part of? I don't want to be part of a dueling DJ dance contest at Allen Fieldhouse at 9 o'clock on a Friday. Pass.
You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like Adidas said, hey, we're not paying for Darren Peterson and a musical guest. You got to pick which one you want here. Do you want us to pay for a point guard for you guys, or do you want us to pay to bring Nelly here? We're just having a dance party with dueling DJs. That's it. That's the late night excitement.
Do you know what?
You better go get somebody. You better go get Rod Wave or Lil Baby or somebody.
I have a hunch that the players will not be participating in this event. They will be back at the house by then.
Yeah, that's what they're having. 41st late night, dueling DJs, scrimmages, and a student after party. So, Rob, if you want to go to the student after party and then maybe hit up a little sandbar on the way out of there, sounds like it's going to be a happening time in Lawrence, Kansas tonight. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Nate Taylor of ESPN. A lot of Chiefs news. We'll get his thoughts. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 965, The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The multi-car crash down south on 435 westbound. It's at Metcalf, and 2 left lanes are blocked. Big backups in that area. The next wreck, 49 northbound, the on-ramp from 150 highway is blocked. Right lane stopped on 49 northbound. That's a 2-car crash. And I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at The Other Place. We got a very exciting weekend, so it doesn't matter if you're watching the college, doesn't matter if you're watching the pros, doesn't matter if you're watching playoff baseball. This is a very exciting time in the sports calendar, and a perfect place to go celebrate that is with our friends over at The Other Place. They got incredible game day specials on Sunday. 14-inch 2-topping pizzas for $12, $8 wings and a basket of tots, $4 domestic OP cups. You also, today, if you want to go stop by, get yourself a $6 appetizer, also a Busch Light Tall Boy. You know that Rob, he loves himself a Busch Light Tall Boy. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind game day experience, the next best thing to being out to the stadium, if you don't plan on going out there on Sunday, then you need to plan on going to The Other Place.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Bud Light
Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
I love going to Hy-Vee, but I've got 2 kids in high school and life is busy. That's why I love the convenience of ordering my groceries with Hy-Vee's Aisles Online. It's easy. Just download the app or go to Hy-Vee.com. Then choose your store, select your items, and Hy-Vee will do all the shopping. All you have to do is pick up your order or have it delivered to you. Try it today. New customers get $10 off your first Aisles Online purchase with the code. Save time, save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Right now, receive up to a $25 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Listen to the Chiefs and Raiders on Sunday with pregame starting at 9, kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. 4 o'clock on Friday can only mean one thing. From St. Joe to Sao Paulo to Santa Clara, he's there every step of the way, and nobody knows the Chiefs like Nate Taylor.
They will move Joe Tooney to left tackle.
Now of ESPN, join CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
There is so many things that we need to get to with Nate Taylor. The 2 major stories to me with Kansas City are related to Josh Simmons and also related to Rashee Rice. Here is what Nate Taylor said earlier in the week about Josh Simmons.
I do believe it's a family matter. I do believe, Josh Simmons is back in like the Southern California, San Diego area, which is, his hometown. I had the responsibility yesterday not to ask Andy Reid, because I've done that already, but to really ask Patrick Mahomes, like, hey, man, have you talked to this guy? Patrick was very honest on Sunday saying he didn't know where Josh was, and that, it's not every day the starting quarterback has to go to the coaching staff and say, where's the left tackle? And the coaching staff really doesn't have the best answer for your franchise quarterback. So when Patrick Mahomes said yesterday that he's praying for Josh Simmons, I think we all need to take that cue from the quarterback. And, I'm fearful, I guess, is probably the best way I can explain what I've heard.
That was Nate Taylor a couple of days ago in relation to Josh Simmons. He's sitting down right now. We'll get his thoughts on this coming up in just a bit. So I would say that's story number one for the Chiefs. Where's their left tackle? The other A story when it comes to the Chiefs is Rashee Rice. He is back. He is back for the first time since September of last year. Rashee Rice was asked about how excited he is to get back on the field. Here's what he said.
I've been looking forward to this probably for, I think it's been like 380-something days I haven't played a regular season game, and despite the regular season, we still have a whole off season before that where we were training super hard to get ready for that prior season. So, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and the time's finally here.
Let's welcome to the show right now Nate Taylor with ESPN joining us on the show today. You know what? You've talked a lot about Josh Simmons. We certainly will get to that here coming up in a bit, but let's talk about Rashee Rice. We had Mitch Holthus on the show on Monday. I asked him how important it was, what this meant for the Chiefs that he was coming back, and he said this is like adding Deebo Samuel to the offense. So very big praise for when at his absolute peak, we're talking about a guy that could catch for 1,200, 1,300 yards and can run for 600 if you needed him to. You're around this team, you know this offense as well as anybody. How impactful, how important is it to have Rashee Rice back?
Yeah, Deebo Samuel is an interesting comp. I would say more in the lines of Puka Nacua, where I feel great every third down because he's on the field. I feel great every first down because we can get into a favorable second down. Hell, he might even get 10 yards on this play if it's 1st and 10 and we get the right look. So no matter how you slice it, I think it's interesting that, I think Deebo Samuel comes into mind because of the behind the line of scrimmage work, right? Last year they got so good at being like, hey, is that off zone coverage? Great. We're throwing the ball to him in less than a second because we had one of the strongest armed quarterbacks, and that guy is going to break the first tackle. It's amazing when and I think that's where the Deebo Samuel comp comes into mind. The more I think about it, it's like when Deebo Samuel is at his best, he's always making the first guy miss, no matter where he catches the football. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, short, intermediate area, if there's a defender nearby, that guy is going to have a real trouble trying to tackle him. That'll be one of the big tests in Sunday's game against the Raiders is how often does Rashee Rice not only get the ball and not only how much is he on the field, which my guess would be a little bit over half the snaps. All right, well, when he has the ball in his hand, does he make that first guy miss? Does he add the level of yards after the catch that made him arguably one of the best receivers in the league last season before his injury? So if that continues, yeah, there's a Deebo Samuel element to it, but I just think because they have so many weapons around him now, it's the same thing Matthew Stafford says. I mean, I could throw it to Devontae Adams, but Puka Nacua's right over there, and he's awesome. So I get the sense that, hey, I might have Xavier Worthy. I might have Tyquan Thornton. They might even dictate the coverages. I love Travis Kelce, but this guy, Rashee Rice, is healthy, athletic, in the prime of his career. One could argue has plenty of motivation to play well immediately because of his own contract situation based on the predicament he put himself in. So I think that's one of the reasons why he has a chance to really push this offense to even something that was beyond the version we saw in 2022. And now we're talking like 2020, 2019 version of the offense if everything goes well and everyone stays healthy around Rashee Rice.
Where would you rank Rashee? This was a debate that we had on the show a couple of days ago. So to give you a little backstory, I don't know if you were listening to it. I said that the Chiefs were getting back a top 25, top 30 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Text line went crazy. He's a top 10. Somebody said he's top 5. We were then going
top
through the guys.
5.
And
Whoa.
This was my argument. I said there were 8 guys that I'm not even willing to even entertain the possibility these guys are better wide receivers than Rashee Rice. But I feel like Rice is in a category where, let's say that you think Rice is the 11th best receiver in the league. I also could make an argument that he's 25th because there's just so many good wide receivers in the National Football League.
Right.
So like a guy like Smith for the Eagles, Devontae Smith. What do I do with him? I think Devontae Smith is better than Rashee Rice, but if you put Rice ahead of him, I can't say that you're wrong if you end up doing that. Jalen Waddle. Like, I think once you get to that tier 2 and tier 3 of wide receivers, I think we're talking about 15 to 20 just very talented players. Where would you kind of have Rashee Rice ranked?
I love this. I love every part of this because you, sir, sound knowledgeable and logical. I know some people on the text line who have seen the highlights because Rashee Rice already has a pretty nice mixtape, but consistency, doing it every down. He did do more than what was asked of him, more than even what the Chiefs thought he was going to do his rookie season. So if you're someone with the rose-colored glasses, you're thinking, man, just give me another full season, or just give me the rest of this season fully healthy, fully in his role. He's only going to be better than he was in 2023. And guys, he was excellent as a rookie. I understand that. He's not Puka Nacua, guys. Like, we have to see it. That's why this game is so fun, so fascinating. It's like, yes, Devontae Smith, guys, did he win the Heisman? Remind people. He won the Heisman. He's really, really good. The only reason why he's not the number 1 receiver in Philadelphia is because this guy named A.J. Brown, who's even better.
And I also think, at least for me, when it comes to the rankings, like, I can't discredit the fact that Devontae Smith has been a healthy player and a productive player immediately in Philadelphia, where, sure, he's not their number 1 that you alluded to, but, I mean, I've seen him have a 95-catch, 1,200-yard season, followed up with 80 catches, 1,100 yards. Like, I've seen Devontae Smith do these things. With Rashee Rice, he didn't have 1,000 yards in his first season. He got hurt in his second season and then was suspended heading into year 3. Like, at this point, we are talking about that Rashee Rice has missed more games potentially than he actually has played in games so far in his career. So I just don't really know how to rank him compared to guys who have been doing it year in, year out for the last 3 to 5 seasons.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is, guys, you guys are, I understand, we're in Kansas City, we are serving our audience, our hometown. Devontae Smith is better than you guys think. You want to know why I can say that, guys? Because we all know who we watch and play quarterback for them. Sometimes he has really good games. Sometimes he looks the way he's looked the last 2 weeks. Can you imagine if Devontae Smith had Patrick Mahomes or Matthew Stafford or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? Like, come on. Like, I know the text line here says, like, Matt Leinart also won the Heisman. Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, like, going into the league with certain level of skills. And again, to your point, Carrington, being productive, being someone that you could expect, that you could rely on, and cooked multiple times Jalen Watson in the Super Bowl. Jalen Watson has not really been cooked this year outside of the one time in Jacksonville. Think about that. And by the way, we all agree that Jalen Watson is not as good as Trent McDuffie. So when they put their quote-unquote number 2 receiver on your quote-unquote number 2 corner, that was advantage Eagles all day when both of them were healthy with 2 weeks to prepare in the biggest game that this sport offers. Come on, guys. Like, let's take a deep breath. All right, exhale. Let's see what Rashee does in the Bills game. Everything that matters Sunday is in advance for the showdown in Buffalo once again, which I believe will largely dictate. I know there's the Colts and the Jags and God knows whoever else. I mean, we saw Pittsburgh lose last night. They could have been in the mix as well, or they can still be in the mix. But everything Rashee Rice does on Sunday is leading towards November 2nd, biggest game of the year to that point in the AFC, Chiefs at Bills. How does he do in that game? Because that is the first indicator as to who might have not only the tiebreaker, but the inside track to win the 1 seed, because the AFC is so much in this topsy-turvy, manner right now. We'll see what happens again with Colts, Chargers. But for Rashee Rice, like, get him up to speed these next 2 games so that he can really offer against a quality opponent that we all know is going to be there in January.
I want to move on from the Devontae Smith thing because I'm looking at the text line and the disrespect for Devontae Smith.
It's wild.
One person just said he was a good college player, but he's been average. I pray the Chiefs find an average receiver who over the last 4 seasons has averaged 83 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns a season.
And doesn't have a good quarterback.
Yeah, I hope that they find an average receiver like that.
Has a maybe Pro Bowl caliber quarterback when he's right, when he's well protected, when he has a good running game. Like, everything was in place for Jalen Hurts last year, guys. They had a Super Bowl roster last year, and Devontae Adams again was awesome. Or not Devontae Smith was awesome in the Super Bowl. What are we talking about, guys?
I actually was thinking this. I just wrote this down. I would love to go back and go through all the stories that you've written to see the very first story that you wrote about the possibility of their big three at wide receiver and having Rice, Worthy, and Brown.
Yeah.
And think about it. When you wrote this, if I had told you, I can look into the future and show you that their first game together won't happen until October 19th of 2025. You'd have looked at me like I was crazy if I had told you that. We have been talking about these three playing together for, honestly, 20 months now. 20 months we have been talking about this. And finally, on Sunday at noon, there is going to be a time where on the field, it is Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown all on the field at the exact same time.
Yes. I mean, that was why draft night 2 years ago was so wild to me, was that you said, okay, well, they have Rashee Rice coming off an incredible rookie season, right? Helped you win the Super Bowl. Amazing. As a second-round pick. Okay, well, they got Hollywood Brown, who, if he stays healthy, fits this offense pretty seamlessly. And he's got a very good relationship with Patrick Mahomes already, which is one of the reasons why you were able to attract him to Kansas City. And then on draft night, you telling me they get the fastest guy to pair with one of the strongest armed quarterbacks when all the Chiefs have been trying to do for 2 years is get just something out of the deep ball portion of their offense. You just drop him in too. And again, it wasn't hey, this is the next Tyreek Hill. It's no, but the comparison that was right at the time, and it seemed to mostly hold to true, is this is Deshaun Jackson. This is a Deshaun Jackson level player who's tougher than you think, but has so much speed that it's going to open up everything. And oh, by the way, Travis Kelce's still in the mix. I couldn't believe that the Buffalo Bills were the team that was yeah, we'll trade with you, knowing that Xavier Worthy was still on the board, knowing that he was exactly the player the Chiefs were looking at for that range of player at that point in the draft once all the left tackle options had sort of gone off the board. So that's the first day I wrote about it, Carrington. It was draft night when you said, oh my goodness, the offense now makes so much sense. And this is before you would know about Isaiah Pacheco's injury and the fact that you thought he was going to get better over the course of his rookie contract. Now he's had some dips. He's had a funk. He's maybe slowly starting to come out of it. So again, we'll see. But it's every skill position player made sense. And we haven't seen it until the first time we will see it. Even with Isaiah Pacheco, as again, you're still your starting running back. We won't see it until Sunday. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I just I'm just shaking my head.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long.
It's
I've wasted so much ink on this idea. Yeah.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Nate Taylor of ESPN. Let's talk about Josh Simmons here. I guess these are my two main thoughts when it comes to Josh Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have left a blank, which then just causes human beings to try to fill in the blank and trying to figure out what it is. I don't want to play rumor of the day and what people are hearing with Josh Simmons. I think that's just that's a dishonest conversation and not a safe conversation to have when it comes to it. But I think the Chiefs in some way, by just leaving it so ambiguous when it first came out, has just led people to have their own theories when it came to it. And the second part, at least for me, is I just don't know why the Chiefs just didn't put this fire out at the very, very beginning. This could have been a non-story this week if Drew Rosenhaus, Andy Reid, and Josh Simmons had all equally released a statement. That's all they ever had to do was release a statement. Josh is away from the team right now, dealing with a close personal family matter. The team is on board with this. We are doing everything we can to support him. When we have an update, we'll let you know.
Yep.
I don't know why all three parties just didn't agree to do that from the very, very beginning. I'm not making it seem like it's some wildfire that's out of control, but it was a talking point on Wednesday and Thursday that it didn't need to be, that they could have eliminated on Monday morning.
My best explanation as to why that didn't happen, which makes complete sense to me, Carrington, is they weren't talking. That they weren't communicating the way that they either intended or the way that you would want. And so because there's so much mystery around Josh Simmons, how do we communicate publicly in a way that we should? And that's the trick bag of this, man. Drew Rosenhaus didn't know what was going on with his client for longer than the agent would like to know. And again, this is Drew Rosenhaus, ladies and gentlemen, one of the super duper premier agents in the league. Been doing this for quite some time, right? By the way, I want to also tell you that one of his other clients is Tyreek Hill. So just keep that in perspective.
He also was Antonio Brown's agent at one point. So if there's anybody
he
that
was
knows
also
how to
Terrell
deal,
Owens' agent.
Yeah, if there's anybody that knows how to deal with the crisis, it's Drew Rosenhaus.
So that's been actually probably the more surprising element of this is that Drew Rosenhaus is trying to understand everything that's going on with Josh. So therefore, he has chosen to not really say anything publicly or even behind closed doors that's not involving very, very high-ranking officials with the Chiefs. And people can basically allude to who that is. When it comes to Andy Reid, you got to say something, man. And so it took us 5 days, Carrington. It took us earlier today for Andy Reid to say something that was actually accurate. He didn't want to say it, but or maybe he meant to say personal, but he said family situation. And that, based on our even text, seems to be the most accurate thing that the team can say right now, that it's a family situation. And sure, that includes some level of personal part of it. And that he still doesn't have a timetable as to when Josh is going to rejoin the team. I know people have asked me via Twitter or just, in passing, like, could they put him on the non-football, injury list, whatever designation that would give him and the team, honestly, 4 weeks to sort of better understand what's going on and obviously help the player situation. They could do that, but I don't think they want to do that just yet because every detail has not necessarily been, I don't know, like, obviously it's not been shared publicly, but like trying to gather this has been very difficult. It's somewhat mysterious. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like, as I said on with Dusty and Bob yesterday morning, I guess, like, Josh Simmons loves football. So why are you, like, would you necessarily be quick to be like, well, until we know everything, you're just not going to play for the next 4 weeks? Well, that might not help the actual situation involving Josh Simmons, whether it's him personally or his family as a whole. So it took until Friday for a Hall of Fame coach who's been doing this for 27 years to say actually what it probably is, which is a family situation. And because of what I said earlier, well, the agent doesn't feel inclined to share anything, again, publicly or behind closed doors. The best the team has come out with is basically what Andy Reid said today, and we will see if we get another update next week. All we know is that he's not playing on Sunday against the Raiders. If you're just now tuning in, like, Josh Simmons is not playing.
He's not here.
He's not here. Yes, to your point, we honestly don't know where he is because now I'm sure you've heard certain things where it's like, well, is he in San Diego? Well, is he in California? Like was said on NBC. Well, is he somewhere else? It's like, I don't know. So
this is kind of where I am.
Yeah.
In all of this is, if he's not back by next Wednesday, I don't think he can play before the bye week. Like, I don't know if you could be in a situation where, like, let's say he's not back by Wednesday.
Right.
Whenever they start practicing for Monday Night Football against Washington.
Right. That would be actually Thursday.
Yeah,
That'd be Thursday.
So Thursday.
Yeah.
So I would assume that he is not playing on Monday Night Football against Washington. I don't know then how in that scenario, if Jalen Moore starts for 3 straight games at left tackle, you are going into your most important game.
Mm-hmm.
You can then play Josh Simmons at left tackle. Especially when you have no clue what he's been doing. You don't know if he's been working out. You don't know any of those things because he hasn't been around if that's the case. So if that's what we're talking about here, then if he's not back by next week and at least practicing and ramping up to play for the Buffalo game, then the official stance, at least for this show, is going to be, I don't think he should play against Buffalo. There's a bye week, and then we can reevaluate where we are after the bye week. That gives you a month's time of taking care of your personal business, doing everything that you need to do, and then are you locked in? Are you ready to come back for the second half of the season and help us go win a championship?
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense because you do not have the level of urgency and honestly desperation that they had at the position last year. Jalen Moore, if he continues to perform the way he did against the Lions, you say, hey, that's good enough for us to be competent, to be effective against whoever we play. And then, the Chiefs, I don't know if there's been this misconception, but like, hey, man, it'd be nice to know like all the details. Well, hey, the player didn't give you all the details. Doesn't mean like the Chiefs can't support him properly when he comes back to the best of their abilities, whenever that time is.
At least for me, I don't care about the why, I guess. I mean, I understand people care. Like, it's not really my business. Like, I don't care about that. It's our job to talk about you at your job. You ain't at work.
And we don't know why.
And we have no clue of when you are coming back to work. If they were telling me, hey, he's just out for Sunday's game, he'll be back next week. Oh, well, so no story. Then, hey, he's come back in a couple of days. He's ready to go. Like right now, he is gone, I would say, indefinitely. You have absolutely no clue of when he is coming back. Could that be for Monday Night Football? Is it after the bye week? Is he coming back? That's what I'm saying is, that's all I care about. If family issue, whatever it could possibly be, your business is your business when it comes to that. The uncertainty is, and you just alluded to it, where we all know how quick, like, look at the NFL. Man, injuries are racking up left and right. You are one rolled up ankle away from being in the exact same situation that you were in last year that you have done everything to avoid possibly being in.
Yeah, but you spend all this time evaluating Josh, getting his family background, getting his college background, talking to as many people as you can, because he honestly plays one of the most valuable positions, and he arguably plays the second most valuable position on your team, given who the quarterback is. So I would lean on understanding, on caution, on cooler heads prevailing, which is directly to your point, Carrington. Hey, if he comes back, we don't need to rush you, okay? We will give you all the support you need. We will have more conversations to better understand your circumstances if that is necessary. And then, hey, when we come back from the bye week, let's see how you're doing physically, along with whatever's going on, maybe mentally, psychologically. All these things are included because we're all human beings. He's so talented, Carrington, that this is also a reason why we have to ask. Guys, he is the absolute solution to their biggest problem on their roster. That's why this is important too. You essentially lucked into this because he had an injury, and because every team that was in the postseason last year, once you got past a certain point in the first round of the draft, said, I mean, we could take him, but like, he's not going to play for us because we already got a left tackle, or we already feel good about that position. And so you even got to trade down a spot, and not only has he been in football sense a godsend, he's exceeded every expectations from the moment you selected him. And if you want to win a championship, the easiest path towards doing that is him getting better over the course of the season whenever he comes back, because he is that talented. He is a Pro Bowl caliber player already, and he's probably, if he stays on the field, if everything goes the way it's been going over the first 5 weeks of the season, he's going to progress towards perhaps an all-pro player at the position. That's how good he is. That's how valuable he is to your team compared to every other team in the league, and you don't know all the details as to why he left the team. That's why it's important.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Nate Taylor of ESPN. Coming up on the other side, I want to give you my thoughts on this rivalry and how we've seen it change over the course of our lifetime. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
From The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. Nearly clear, they say, is the multi-car crash. 435 westbound at Metcalf. Left lane is the only one that's closed right now. Now you've got a new crash involving several vehicles, though. 69 southbound past 119th, right lane blocked. Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and April Air and 20-plus other vendors at the KC Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. Enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
All right, Nate
Hey,
Taylor.
it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Boy. Threw me off guard.
Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
My bad, Juju. I got a false start more recently than Jawan Taylor did. My bad. I'm sorry there. My bad. All right, Nate, you and I are both from Kansas City. So we remember what Raider Week was like when we were coming up. Now, you got a little one that's into football. You don't know Raider Week the way that you and I.
He don't even talk about the Raiders.
Because it's not one of their most important games anymore.
No.
This is the point that I made. It kind of has reached a point where, like in a college rivalry, like this is, I imagine, how KU fans felt about Missouri. Beating you guys does nothing for us.
It's cool.
Losing to you guys means everything.
Yeah, right.
So it's just not the reward of playing you because we don't get anything out of it. Patrick Mahomes has beat the Raiders 12 times.
Jeez.
We don't talk about any of the wins against the Raiders. Ever. We don't play highlights from them. We don't play clips from them. We don't see anything from them. Beating the Raiders for Patrick Mahomes is not a big deal. He's lost to the Raiders twice. We know all the details about losing to the Raiders. The one time they lost, they drove the bus around the stadium. The second time they lost, it was Christmas. Let's just think about that.
Yeah.
We never talk about the wins against the Raiders because beating the Raiders just doesn't matter. Sure, you don't want to lose to them. It's a division opponent. I get all of that. But you guys, you feel a certain level of pride when they beat Cincinnati, when they beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, if they had beat Philadelphia in week 2, you would have felt something about it. They're 12.5-point favorites against the Raiders. What are we doing here?
And again, if you're just tuning in, Brock Bowers doubtful. Perhaps their best player on he is their best player on offense.
Winning doubtful for the Raiders.
Yeah, my son Hayden is 10 years old, ladies and gentlemen. He is now fully ingrained into fantasy football. Like, basically, my fantasy football team is now, he's the assistant general manager. He's asking, like, hey, can we trade for Ladd McConkey? And I'm
got a Chris Ballard?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you got a Chris Ballard.
He was like, thank God we got Bijan Robinson. So he asked me about all these players in fantasy football. He ain't asked me about one Raider. Not one. If I asked Hayden who the best player on the Raiders, he would not know. Obviously, it's Max Crosby. But, yeah, that's how much this rivalry has basically become subdued. We remember, it's so funny you talk about the game where they did circles around the bus. The reason I remember that game is not only because of that, but because it angered Patrick and the team so much that they never lost another game that regular season. Not with the starters. They lost week 17, week 18 or whatever.
They always lose that game. Yeah, they playing for nothing.
Playing nobody.
Always lose that one.
So they got so upset. They're like, you know what? Not losing again. It was so fun because Marty Schottenheimer and Carl Peterson made it fun, made it a backbone to being a fan. Understanding Lamar Hunt's desire to always want to beat the Raiders because of that AFL startup, because they were so polar opposites in terms of the brand, right? The Chiefs were like, hey, we're the team that is, upstanding. And I'm just saying it from their perspective. We're the team that's upstanding. We're the team that has, Willie Lanier and Buck Buchanan. And we got all look at Lynn Dawson and Otis Taylor. And look at those, insert whatever phrase you want, insert whatever term you want to call for the Raiders, who were literally leaning into that. And that was one of the reasons why they were successful with John Madden, with obviously Al Davis. There's so much of a rich texture to the rivalry that is essentially not any of that in today's time.
I know this isn't going to make sense based off of what we just saw on Sunday Night Football, but you and I grew up watching, a lot of us grew up watching those NFL films.
Yeah.
And they just show the fights among the years between the Chiefs and the Raiders. We don't watch sports with the anticipation that a fight could ever break out. It would be crazy if a fight could break out. So that's what I mean, when it comes to the Raiders just don't have many villains because there's not a lot of villains now in sports. Sure,
true.
You don't like Max Crosby. I mean, I guess I wouldn't consider Max Crosby to be a villain. He seems like a cool guy, like a guy,
great human being.
Yeah, like a guy I want to hang out with. So part of the rivalry is you looked at the Raiders for everything that was wrong with the league. They were the silver and black, and Al Davis, and
they were the rebels of the league. Yes,
yeah, they're not that anymore.
No,
they're just a bad franchise, and they've been a bad franchise for basically our entire adult life. They've been bad. There has not been a time since you and I have been adults that we thought that the Raiders could win the Super Bowl. We're almost 40.
Yes, I know.
They're terrible.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, and again, we don't talk about it in the same way because the Browns are the Browns, but when you get to the Raiders and their list of quarterbacks. Ooh, buddy, that's a list. And
that's who the Raiders are. They're the Browns with slot machines. That's who they are. That's who they are.
Picking high in the draft, another coach, another quarterback, another coach, another quarterback.
I'm not really mock draft guy. I mean, they're fun, but I don't really keep up with them in that way. But I remember that year. Remember that year they drafted Cleveland Farrell? And I remember thinking at 4? Every mock draft I saw had him at 26, and you guys took him at 4. That's when I realized, why are we talking about this team? Why are we worried about them?
Right. Their best, I would say the Raiders' best attribute, the best thing they had, which is not quite saying a ton, is when they had John Gruden. And kids, we can't let him back in the league for obvious reasons that we don't need to explain.
I kind of do like him on social media. Though. I kind of do like him there.
I mean, he's got personality. He's got a style. He's got a little bit of rebel in him too. And so the last time the Raiders were successful, Tom Brady was a first-year starting quarterback. That's crazy to me, man. That they're like in some ways, the league's decision to have a tuck rule in general, let alone let it decide who went to the championship game, is nuts. And that is the demarcating line for the Raiders' history ever since. Ever since the tuck rule, they have not been the same team. And they did try to bring some of that back when they got John Gruden to come back aboard. But then, he was out here doing wild things. We can't have you back in the league, dog. We just, it was fun. But we cannot have this.
All we need him to do is just keep giving us the quarterback camps. I enjoy it when he does the quarterback. He's fantastic.
Incredible. I mean, in terms of football mind, if we could just harness John Gruden's football mind, but not have to worry about all the extracurriculars, great. I mean, I love the way he thinks compared to Kyle Shanahan, compared to Andy Reid. He is one of those pillars from an offensive schematic standpoint, considering that they were. Buddies. I mean, they still are friends, him and Andy Reid, but they kind of came up together under, who was it? They were in, what was it? They were in San Francisco. Then there was some San Francisco connection with the West Coast, obviously. And then obviously in Green Bay with, why can't I think of the coach's name right now? This is bad. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Mike Holmgren, thank you. Yes. So they came up together under Mike Holmgren. I mean, there's Steve Mariucci in the mix. Man, they had it rolling. And then, Steve Mariucci went to Detroit and it went bad. And then John Gruden did John Gruden things that are not anywhere comparable to Andy Reid, but they're still buddies. So now we have Pete Carroll, who I thought was, hey, competent coach. Hey, Geno Smith, competent quarterback. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. The rest of the roster stinks. So
that's basically where we are. A big thing to me, at least with the Raiders, and I know we're up against it, Rob, is I thought the Raiders could be good this year because I trusted the foundation of their offense. Geno Smith, Ashton Jeanty, and Brock Bowers.
Yep.
Geno has more interceptions than touchdowns. Jeanty's averaging 4 yards a carry. Brock Bowers is hurt. That explains why the Raiders are one of the bottom 8 teams in the National Football League. Coming up on the other side, I want to play a very quick game with you, Nate Taylor. We'll do that. I also want to get your thoughts on the kicker. Every week I got to ask you a question about their kicker. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at The Other Place. We got a very exciting weekend, so it doesn't matter if you're watching the college, doesn't matter if you're watching the pros, doesn't matter if you're watching playoff baseball. This is a very exciting time in the sports calendar, and a perfect place to go celebrate that is with our friends over at The Other Place. They got incredible game day specials on Sunday. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for $12, $8 wings and a basket of tots, $4 domestic OP cups. You also, today, if you want to go stop by, get yourself a $6 appetizer, also a Busch Light Tall Boy. You know that Rob, he loves himself a Busch Light Tall Boy. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind game day experience, the next best thing to being out to the stadium, if you don't plan on going out there on Sunday, then you need to plan on going to The Other Place.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Several cars involved. 69 southbound, just past 119th. It is the right lane blocked. Clearing stages, 435 westbound at Metcalf. It is off to the left shoulder. 2-car crash, 435 northbound past Truman, right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Nate Taylor, we're going to put you to the test here. You remember the game we used to play with quarterbacks, where you would have to name all of the team's quarterbacks in a 30-second time frame?
Yes.
We're going to play that same game with the Las Vegas Raiders / Oakland Raiders, but this time with head coaches.
Oh!
They have had 13 different head coaches since 2005. Rob, they have had 13 different head coaches over the last 20 seasons.
Crazy.
Think about that. That's nuts that is the case.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. We're going to give you 30 seconds. Rob, how many do you think he's going to get out of Raiders head coaches the last 20 years?
I'm gonna put Nate at 6. I feel like he can get to about half.
I was going to set the over-under at 4.5.
Dog.
I was going to set the over-under at 4.5. I mean, set it at 4.
At least one's a layup. There's 2 layups.
Yeah, 2 layups. Yeah.
That's how I feel you're going to get to 6.
Okay, so this includes Pete Carroll. So you already got 1 off the rip.
Yeah, we talked about Gruden.
He thinks you're going to get it. All right, hold on. We got to hit the music.
Sorry.
Over-under, text line real quick, 913-586-7965. We're setting the over-under at 5.5, Rob, or 4.5? What are we setting it at?
I'm setting it 5.5.
5.5. You're taking the over.
Oh, boy.
You know what? You my dog. I'm going to bet on you. I'm going to take the over-under here. All right. 30 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Pete Carroll, Gruden, Jack Del Rio, Hugh Jackson. Why can't I think of the most recent one before John Gruden? This is so bad. So bad. So bad. This is so bad. Was it Dennis Allen? Dennis Allen was one, right? Hey, is that 5? Okay, I need one more. Freak. No!
Who was the one he said there was? So right now I have you down for Hugh Jackson, Dennis Allen, Gruden, and Carroll. I feel like I missed one.
So Hugh Jackson, Jack Del Rio.
Jack Del Rio. That was the one you said.
Yeah,
okay, Jack Del Rio. Are you ready?
Yeah.
These have been the 13 coaches for the Raiders over the last 20 seasons. These are the ones you did not name. Norv Turner, Art Shell.
Art Shell was in 2000.
Lane
2005.
Lane Kiffin.
Oh.
Lane Kiffin was a head coach for them. Tom Cable. You remember they had Tony Sperano.
Oh, yeah.
They had Rich Basia. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
The special teams coach, yes.
Basaccia. My bad. My apologies. Because he took over whenever they fired Josh McDaniels. You didn't say Josh McDaniels, who was the head coach for them.
I've deleted that from my memory.
Antonio Pierce. Those have been the head coaches for
I think of Antonio Pierce. He was at training camp.
Last season, he was the head coach
they put him in all red at training camp. They're like, you need red shorts, red T-shirt. Red.
Oh, they was going crazy. Hey, Kool-Aid. They wasn't playing around.
They're like, you want to have a couple days with Spags? You know what you need to do? By the way, Antonio played for Steve Spagnuolo when they were a member of the Giants, the team that beat Tom Brady's undefeated Patriots. Hey, in order for you to come to St. Joe, you need to be wearing all red.
Hey, you got to denounce those Raiders. You got to denounce them. A great way to end this is let's just talk about the kicker. I feel stuck in a lot of ways. I feel stuck because I just don't know what's going to happen. Let's say he misses 2 kicks this week. Are they bringing in to work somebody out, or are they gonna fake put him an injury to put him on the injured reserve list? Like, right now, the plan is just let him figure it out. Well, okay, then let's just let him figure it out.
Let's say he misses either another extra point, which he missed badly in the win over the Detroit Lions last week, or he misses a field goal that's like, say, under 45 yards.
I'd be stunned if he's not kicking in Buffalo. I'd be stunned.
A makeable kick, right, for the average NFL kicker. Guys, he's been performing either at or slightly below the average NFL kicker, just to keep that in mind. He is the league's highest paid kicker based on his accolades over the last 5 years. I think option 2 is probably more likely.
You think just ghost injury?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, I've said it out loud, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the way it works is you could Google this as to who is the head trainer of your Kansas City Chiefs. I can just take a piece of paper, get a little pen, click. Okay, hey, Harrison. Yeah, come meet with me for a minute, man. I'm going to show you a body part on this piece of paper. I want you to point to it and say where it hurt. Because you get 4 weeks if we do IR.
Okay, this would be my question if they do that. I'm not saying that's outside the realm of possibility. What if the replacement is good?
Hey, buddy, we've reached the 4-week point of your IR. I want you to look at this sheet of paper again and point to me where it hurts.
That's why I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think you open yourself up to a controversy, because you're right. If they do that, and we know teams do that all the time.
Right.
We put people on IR, right? That happens. Teams manipulate the IR that way, and you can bring a guy back.
Correct.
If they get somebody else, and he is better than Harrison Butker, are they then going back to Harrison Butker once it gets cold outside? I don't know if that's the case. That's why I think they're going to ride this thing until, this thing absolutely breaks down or it fixes itself. But But at least this season. Next year, it's a different beast. Because
Right.
then you're closer to being able to get out of it.
Correct.
But at this point, there is no getting out of Harrison Butker's contract. You don't really have a choice right now.
Have you seen this offense, Carrington? I mean, if the offense keeps getting better, and every drive essentially is going to be past midfield with this offense, this offensive line, hey, bro, points matter. So it's a ruthless game, kids. Don't ever forget this. The NFL is ruthless. Hey, bud, point. Is it your ankle? Give us something logical. Is it foot? You want to say lower back? Everybody got back issues. You want to say knee? Well, you did have a procedure on it last year, so we could just give me something.
How much of it do you think is mental versus physical? If you had to guess, or from people you're talking to.
My question, though, in that is, he's not, based on the trajectory of kickers in the modern era, he's not at the cliff in terms of like where your prime is.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it would be mental outside of something else going on. So I would, out of respect for Harrison Butker, I would say it's got to be something physical. I would say more so than mental, because the guy has been absolutely the most secure kicker when your season's on the line, when you're trying to get the 1 seed, when you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, and when you need the field goal that either wins the Super Bowl or puts the Super Bowl in overtime. He's made every one of those kicks. So you got to be mentally sharp and be technically sound in order to do that, and just have confidence. And so you could say, well, maybe that's a confidence issue, maybe that's somewhat mental, but you can't miss that extra point the way he missed it on Sunday and be like, what is that? So out of respect, I'll say physical, which again is why I would, again, if he misses next 2 weeks, like you said, if he ain't kicking in Buffalo, hey man, this is the NFL. We got an offense. So if I bring in another kicker who is either at average or slightly above average because he's trying to prove that he deserves to be in the league, which means we might actually get an increase in terms of percentage-wise from field goals, hey, I'm bringing it in. I'm bringing them in.
Yeah,
hey.
And I mean, I think at least one point, I know we're up against it, Rob. I think another part in all of this is we talk about how expensive he is. He ain't really that expensive compared to other positions on the field. Like, we're talking about them eating $10 million, which I know sounds like a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Every team in the NFL is willing to eat $10 million if we can find somebody else that can be better than you at your position. That happens literally all the time.
Even if it's for a couple months, right? But let's say you get back like he did last year. He came back in mid-December, and he was excellent again. So if for whatever reason, you got to sit down for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And if you come back and be the guy you was last year, then okay. But like, in order to do that, hey, they said we can't bring nobody in just because you're the highest paid player at your position.
I want to ask you this really quickly. Someone brought this up, and it's a really good point. Andy was aggressive in a way that he hasn't been on fourth down.
Yes.
How much of that you think is Harrison Butker related?
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, look at the offense.
I saw one thing. I forgot who it was. It was like 89 times the Chiefs had been in this sequence.
That was my buddy Sam McDowell's.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember who it was, but I saw it was like 89 times they'd been in. It was the first time they'd ever gone for it there. I was like,
oh, yeah. Excellent piece by Sam McDowell that took a lot of research the night after the game. But he should do that because the offense is like almost a spaceship, and they're about to include Rashee Rice. And ladies and gentlemen, like you didn't need to know this, but I'll just say it right now. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on fourth down. You can look at any statistical trend over the last 3 years. He is the best quarterback on fourth down. And somebody finally got to Andy Reid because, in part, hey, man, it's not a guaranteed 3 once we get past the opponent's 40-yard line.
That was our guy, Nate Taylor of ESPN, joining us on the show. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got a lot to get into. We got the latest, at least regarding to the stadium. We caught up with Jonathan Ketz earlier today with Fox 4 to get his thoughts on everything. We take a trip to Las Vegas to get you ready for Sunday's matchup against the Raiders. We got a great weekend of college football. A very busy show here on The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Okay, new crash Kansas side of things. K7 northbound just past 70. It is in the right lane and still working down south is a multi-car crash 69 southbound past 119th. In the right lane there, I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Are you ready to fire up your Saturdays? Well, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. Here's how it works. Each week, we're giving everybody a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everybody gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams every Saturday with an extra payout on the line. It's fun. It's easy. It's only on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com. Use the promo code KFNZ to get started on the app and check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on the action. And remember, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boostin' with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost. Tokens restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hello, Kansas City. Christopher Youngers here with Cafe Trio. The seasons, they are changing. And if you haven't seen Cafe Trio during the holidays, from Halloween, the Plaza Lights, and Christmas with all of our decorations, well, then you've missed out on one of the most seasonally spectacular dining experiences in town. Offering live music, very spirited holiday decorations, and farm-to-table fresh menus, Cafe Trio is the place to be for the holidays. 45th and Main, CafeTrioKC.com.
For over 30 years, we've been crafting more than jewelry. We've been crafting love stories. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, where our jewelry tells a story, your story. Unlike big-name designers mass-producing so-called exclusive designs by the thousands in overseas factories, we create one-of-a-kind masterpieces by hand right here in our shop. Our custom designs are just that, custom, designed and crafted with you, for you, and only you. Every custom ring, pendant, or bracelet from House of Diamonds is as unique as the person wearing it. And also, unlike those big-name designers, we'll never use lab diamonds to pad our profits. I've watched prices of lab diamonds drop 90% in the last 2 years, but I'm pretty sure those big designers are still charging the same or more for that big name and designer box. Real stories deserve real diamonds, and one-of-a-kind love deserves one-of-a-kind designer jewelry. Come to House of Diamonds for over 30 years on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Hey, it's Creed Humphrey. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play a little stadium stuff, Rob. If you want to cut a best of that, we'll play a little stadium stuff in this 5 o'clock hour. We'll give you a little Raider stuff in the 5 o'clock hour. Mizzou plays their first road game of the season coming up. Who's KU got this weekend?
Bye week.
Bye week, all right.
So does K-State.
Okay, so Mizzou's the only college football team that we got in town. I'm so focused on my team and what they need to do. I ain't worrying about your team and what they got to do. They ain't playing for nothing. My team's playing for the playoff. Your team is playing for the, I guess, Bragging Rights Bowl coming up next week in Lawrence, Kansas. So let's start with this, at least when it comes to arriving. We'll shout out Baker University. The Raiders and Chiefs rivalry, it just doesn't really do it for me anymore. It doesn't really do it for me in this sense. Now, I understand that I do not cheer for the Chiefs in the ways that you guys do, but I think you guys on the text line, being around the city, it normally gives me a good feeling of what games have buzz. When the Eagles were in town, the game had buzz. It had real juice. It is a Super Bowl rematch. Sunday Night Football. You're playing the Detroit Lions, possibly the best team in the NFC. The Chiefs play in big football games on a day-in, day-out basis. Think of the month of November that they have. On the road against Buffalo, big game. On the road against Denver, big game. Home against Indianapolis. We didn't think that it was going to be that important. It might be the most important game in the AFC this year. Thanksgiving, the Chiefs play a home game on Christmas. Like, I understand how in 1994, how the Chiefs had one marquee game. Maybe you would get a Monday Night Football. There was no Thursday Night Football, no Sunday Night Football. Like, you just were hoping you could get a Monday Night Football game, and you're hoping that was against the Raiders. But the Chiefs are just so evolved past that at this point that hearing the same stories from Neil Smith and Bill Moss and Dana Hughes and Mitch Holtz, it's hearing the same stories about 1997, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. This is the analogy I made, and I'll make it for you in the 5 o'clock hour. In theory, I understand why Kansas didn't want to play Missouri in basketball. In theory, I get it. Now, from a history, tradition, financial standpoint, it didn't make sense to me, but just based on this principle, beating Missouri doesn't really do a whole lot for Kansas. They are one of the 5 best programs in college basketball. It is expected that you are going to beat Missouri. You beat Missouri in basketball 65, 70% of the time. You are a far superior program to them. It doesn't raise your national cachet. It doesn't help you to beat Missouri. Losing to them, it's a negative. Their fans storm the court when they beat you. They chant blank KU in between made baskets. I could see how it is all the risk and none of the reward for beating Missouri. I really understand it. That's how this rivalry has turned out. The Chiefs just don't really gain anything by beating the Raiders. It's not a win that you feel proud of in the same way that you did in 1995. It's not one of those marquee banner wins. No one in the league celebrates you for it because they know that you're going to play in much more important games. And oh yeah, it is sandwiched in between Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. You got a noon game at home against the Raiders. The Raiders are not a good football team. Rob, when did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2009.
You graduated high school in 2009. So since you have graduated high school, since you have been an adult, think about all the things that have happened in your life. The Raiders have not won a playoff game since you graduated high school. The Raiders only have 2 seasons in which they have won 9 or more games, and they look like they are headed towards the exact same fate. Professional rivalries are based in something different than in college sports. Not everybody's college team is going to win the national championship. Not everybody's college team is going to go to the college football playoff or the Final Four. Trust me, I know. But the one thing you do carry in college football is bragging rights over your opposition. KU fans, no one cares that you won the Orange Bowl in 2007. You know who cares about it? You and Missouri. That's who cares about it. That's who cares. And it's big. You did something cool that you can look at your rival and say, we did something that you didn't accomplish. That's what makes college sports so cool. That when your team wins, you take the field goal post down and you throw it in the lake. Or if you're an Auburn fan, you throw toilet paper on the trees. That's the cool stuff about college sports. That's not how we celebrate professional sports. Pro sport rivalries are based on competition, competitiveness, and two teams that are fighting for the exact same thing. The reason why the Chiefs and Bills rivalry has become the marquee rivalry in the sport and why it's taken the place of Patriots and Colts or Patriots and Broncos or Niners and Cowboys, it's because both teams are playing for something. Not just bragging rights at the office. No, I mean something legitimate. Who can be the 1 seed? Who can host the AFC Championship game? Who can win MVP? Who can win the Super Bowl? Not a 1995 trip down memory lane nostalgia bowl that the Raiders want to play every single time. Patrick Mahomes has played the Raiders 14 times in his career. They have 12 wins. I'm serious. Text line 913-586-7965. What are some memories you have from Chiefs and Raiders games while Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback? Because I'm guessing, aside from the little ring around the rosy play that they did, there ain't really many memories from the wins. You remember the losses very vividly because that's all that matters with the Raiders are the losses. Beating the Raiders doesn't, what purpose does it serve? It's just, it's another game on the schedule. The Chiefs have 5 more important home games this season than they do against the one against the Raiders. They play the Eagles already at home. They play Baltimore already at home. They play the Lions at home. They play Indianapolis. They play the Broncos on Christmas Day. The Chargers game has more meaning than the Raiders game. It's just, I personally am over it. I mean, I can get back into it for sure. It's got to give me something new. It's something current. The Raiders and the Chiefs rivalry is that high school friend that you have that is still telling you how they scored 20 points against Lee Summit West. Bro, we're grown. How's your job going? How's your kids? Why are you telling me this same story about how you scored 20 points against Michael Dixon when you were in high school? Bro, it's over. Let's move on with our life. That's what this rivalry has become to me. 913-586-7965. I don't have it anymore. When it comes to this game, to me with the Raiders, it's very simple with the Raiders. I thought the Raiders could be good. I really did. I thought they had a chance of being good. None of the things that I thought were going to work out for them has worked out. Geno Smith has 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. If that's the case, your team's not going to be good. So he has more interceptions than touchdowns. Ashton Jeanty, I'm not saying he was a bad pick by any means. He just hasn't been great. He's averaging exactly 4 yards a carry and has 3 touchdowns. He's been fine. He's been a fine back. That's who he's been. He's been Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a cool stance is who he's been so far in his career. He's just been fine. And Brock Bowers, who I think you could have argued he was the best tight end in the league. He certainly was in the short list of conversation. He's only played in 4 games this season. He's doubtful for this game, and he has 200 yards receiving so far this season. So if you had told me at the beginning of the season that Geno Smith was going to be Ashton Jeanty was going to average exactly 4 yards a carry in the middle of October, and Brock Bowers was going to miss multiple games, I would have told you the Raiders would be bad. The Raiders are bad. They're 2-4. They're one of the 8 teams in the league right now that I don't think have a chance of making the playoffs. There's a lot of teams that do have a chance. The Raiders might as well start getting ready for the draft. This is a team that needs to figure out who their quarterback's going to be next season because I'm not sure, at least based on how things are right now, I'm not sure if it can be Geno Smith. They need another makeover for them as an organization. So that is the unofficial hit one. Let's get to the official hit one.
Your workday is over. Oh, yeah. You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
As always, Karen, the hits are brought to you by Baker University. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th, more than 30,000 visitors will gather under Baldwin City's brilliant maple trees for Maple Leaf Festival. Enjoy family fun, food, music, and art as we celebrate 65 years of Kansas tradition. Details at bakeru.edu/Maple Leaf.
I want to read this really quick. Someone says, but CDOT, people of a certain age will always hate the Raiders. It's in our blood. Certainly. I get that. If you're an older fan, I don't mean older like, you're old, but I mean like Rob and I, you guys, like if you're in your mid-30s, 40s, yeah, I get why you hate the Raiders. How do you explain that to a 14-year-old right now? How do you explain the importance of this rivalry and what is the importance of this rivalry based on? Because I don't think it's really based on anything. I think it's based on nostalgia. Have they played for anything? Have they played for a AFC West championship? Have they played for winner take all? The Raiders, they haven't won a playoff game since George W. Bush. I mean, it's so bad for the Raiders. They built built a brand new stadium. You have paid in a playoff game before they did. You know how bad that is? They were in a whole nother state. They moved, built a whole new stadium, hosted a Super Bowl. The Chiefs played in it and won it, and the Raiders still haven't come close to playing a playoff game in there. Yeah, what are we doing here? No. I get it. It used to be a very important rivalry back in the day. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was very, very important back in the day. I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was phenomenal. It was fantastic. It's over. I need them to do something new. I need them to do something current. I need them to do something fresh.
Let me ask you this. And we did this exercise earlier in the show, and you can catch on the podcast page. We went through some big rivalries in sports and asked if they're better back in the day or now. Generally speaking, the answer for all those rivalries, or at least the pro ones, was back in the day. I believe you had Ohio State, Michigan is still good now and those things. But generally speaking, when we went through this exercise, Lakers and Celtics is better back in the day. Mm-hmm. You know, Red Sox and Yankees, all these rivalries are better back in the day. Do we have a problem in sports and pro sports that we're losing these recipes, so to speak? Because the text line, I understand why people are saying, well, I hate the Raiders, I want my kids to hate the Raiders will be our rival forever. I get when the text line says that, but if you're a 24-year-old who's going to Chiefs games, like that guy who always has the backwards visor they put on TV every week, that guy doesn't hate the Raiders. That guy's going to have kids one day. Their kids are not going to hate the Raiders. Are we losing those staples of our childhood in pro sports because it is so based on success and we've lost a little bit of that traditional rivalry feel? Because the Red Sox and Yankees played a postseason series and no one cared. Raiders and Chiefs play this weekend, and generally speaking, no one cares.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say I think it's a little bit twofold. I guess more specifically to the Raiders, like the Raiders don't have a fan base anymore. The Raiders used to have a fan base. They were called the Black Hole. Is there any other team that, if you sit in this section, you remember the picture? I think it was Jamal Charles or Brandon Flowers. I'm trying to remember. I know it was one of those two. Where
it was Brandon Flowers.
They score a touchdown, and you see all of those fans and the dislike that they had for that player. The Raiders used to have an identity. They were a part of a community. The Raiders traded that in and sold out to become one of the NFL's tourist attractions. If you are a visiting fan, that is one of the easiest away games to go to. Going to Vegas is easy. Every airport flies there. You can get a direct flight from most places. You can stay at varying degrees of hotels. If you want to go super cheap or super high end, you can find somewhere to stay. I would say food-wise, the exact same. If you want to do Vegas for cheap, it ain't hard to do Vegas for cheap if you really want to do it. Hey, have a good time, go to a club, gamble a little bit, watch my team come in here, beat up on their team, and then move on. So I think that's some of it, at least when it comes to the Raiders. I would also say I think some of it is, and this is just, I think, a product of sports, they don't fight as much anymore. Like, I understand why we've evolved past it. I get it. But when you think about most of these rivalries, they used to fight. You know? They used to fight. We got video of Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan getting into a fight. We got video of Larry Bird throwing hands. We got video of most of your favorite athletes from back in the day. We got video of them getting into a skirmish before. It's just not really how sports is anymore. I don't know if it's the money, changing teams. These guys just know each other better. Like, we see this all the time. In the offseason, all of these guys work out together. All of these guys have the same trainer. All of these guys are hanging out with each other. So when you spend so much time in your free time around each other, then when it comes time to actually compete against each other, I can see why it doesn't potentially get to fisticuffs and blows and the back and forth and all of those things. So I think that's a major reason of why. The Yankees and Red Sox, when we were growing up, they had a fight. Their coach got in the middle of it, got thrown down to the ground by their Hall of Fame pitcher. Yeah, I would say once you remove that element of it, the rivalry and the super intensity of it, it's always going to diminish when that's the case.
I also think, and the text line makes a great point here, I feel like not only do they not have a fan base anymore, For a long time, Kansas City and kind of the NFL at large had a villain in the Raiders. They had Al Davis. Al Davis was brazen. He was going to have players that broke the rules. He didn't care about the rules. He was a villainous figure for the NFL, and especially in Kansas City, because you know the history of the AFL. He and Lamar Hunt weren't best of buddies. They had a different vision for it. Al Davis was a villain. Does anyone hate Mark Davis? Other than making fun of his goofy haircut, does anyone have any feelings toward him? And I think the fact that we used to hate the owner and it permeated to the team has changed. Now we don't care about the owner, and it permeates the team. We don't care about any of the players on the team. Maybe you just like Max Crosby. Okay, cool. Mahomes said this week in a press conference he respects him, so I get maybe the hate, but I also don't get the hate. Like, I wonder how much this is. We lost Al Davis, and we lost the aura of hating the Raiders.
What's hit number 2?
Number 3.
Oh, number 3, my bad.
Carrington, speaking of the Las Vegas Raiders, you were a believer preseason. I was also bullish, I'll admit it, but not as bullish as you. Why do you think the Raiders have fallen so short of what your expectation was? And it really does boil down to 3 different entities: Carroll, Geno, Genty.
I think their offensive line's bad. I think their offensive line is really, really bad. I think that's the case. I think it's awful. And I think that has really created any problem that they have had for the rest of their team. I think that's created almost every other problem that they've had. I will say this, at least when it comes to the Raiders. I am not disrespecting and overlooking the Raiders as a entity because of how weird the NFL is. I just think this is just kind of one of those weird seasons where I would say every Sunday we are going to have I can't believe that just happened. I think every Sunday when you and I come back on Monday, Rob, we are going to be able to point to a game, a situation, a thing that, oh, well, I'm stunned. I can't believe this happened. Now, I don't think the Raiders are winning this game. I think the Raiders are going to pick in the top 5 in the NFL draft. I don't think they're a very good football team. But I don't think the Bengals are very good. I just saw them win on Thursday Night Football. I don't think the Browns are very good. I saw them beat the Green Bay Packers a couple of weeks ago. Like, I just think this is just one of those very random, very weird years in the National Football League. I think it's that kind of season in the National Football League. Rob, let's talk a little bit about Rashee Rice and sort of what the expectations are for this game. I truly don't care how he plays in this game. Rashee Rice might have 3 catches for 35 yards in this game. That'd be great. Rashee Rice could have 7 catches for 100 yards in this game. I think it's about getting him back on the field, seeing where his conditioning is, seeing him get hit, seeing him get back up from the hit, seeing how he adjusts to just their offense is different than the last time that he played. Xavier Worthy has now played in, we're talking about 17, 18 more football games since the last time that these guys operated on the field at the same time. He's never been on the field at the same time with Hollywood Brown. He's never been on the field at the same time as Tyquan Thornton. So their offense is just different than the last time he was there. How they figure out his role, how they adjust his role, how they make things work for them is what I care about way more than this. They don't need Rashee Rice for this game. I don't think they need Rashee Rice for the game against the Commanders, not with the way their offense has been playing. But as they transition to the next month of the season and we get closer to November and their schedule is as tough as any teams in the National Football League, that's when you want to feel like you got 2 weeks of ramp-up period for your offense and Rashee Rice, and you go on the road against Buffalo, which is going to be a difficult place to play and win, and the Chiefs certainly know that. How does he look? How does he play? How does he perform? We can talk about gain shape all you want, and I know he's posting these workout videos, and I'm not saying he hasn't been doing the work. But practicing football and playing football are 2 drastically different things. What does he look like playing football? It's not just coming back from the suspension. It's also coming back from a significant knee injury last season as well.
I think in a weird way, the fact that his suspension ends on Raider Week is a good thing for the Chiefs because, and me and you see the Raiders different. I think they are the absolute dregs of the NFL. They aren't Jets bad because, good Lord, but they are closer to the Jets than they are the Panthers. I think they're bad. I think if they played any team other than the Titans last week, they would have lost. the Titans were begging to fire their coach, and they got the opportunity because the Raiders beat them. If they had played any other team in the National Football League, I think this team is 1-5 heading into this matchup, but they're 2-4 propped up by the Titans. I think they are really bad. So I think it's a good thing that Rashee Rice is coming back this week because I think it's a good chance to work out the kinks in a live environment. Because it's not just Rashee Rice with his health and all those things you mentioned. There's a trickle-down effect. How does Rashee Rice doing this help Xavier Worthy or hurt Xavier Worthy? How do they, handle personnel groupings? Hey, you have Thornton, you have Worthy, you have all these things. And Andy Reid is maybe the best in the NFL at this. And we've heard Patrick Mahomes, EGE, everyone's going to eat, everyone's going to do these things. It's one thing to say it, something to do it. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. And the Raiders are the perfect team to have a learning curve against because I feel like unless you are throwing the ball to the wrong team or you're just kneeling for 4 quarters, you're going to beat that team. So I agree with you. I'm curious what Rice looks like coming back and the cumulative effect it has on the offense. I think it's a good week to have those, bumps, hiccups, growing pains because I just feel like the Raiders don't have enough to compete with the Chiefs unless the Chiefs give the game away.
Yeah, I think anytime you throw something new into the mix, it's just going to be an adjustment for everybody. I think it's going to be adjustment for Rashee Rice, an adjustment for the offense. I mean, I think the offense is certainly going to be able to handle it. I'm just more excited about the Chiefs just have more things than they've had in a while. Like, I don't know on this team what you can potentially take away. Like, even if you take away the run game, which I don't think is super hard against this team, but just even in the passing game, is the goal to take away Travis Kelce now? Okay, you take away Travis Kelce. Let's say Kelce has 27 yards in this game. Well, all right, well, Rice can go for 100 yards in this game. Worthy can go for 100 yards in this game. We've seen Tyquan Thornton have a good day. We've seen Juju have a good day. Hollywood just had 2 touchdown catches last week. Like, there's just more things to be able to take away. The last time that Rice was one of those players, the Chiefs had 3 offensive weapons. It was him, Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco, and they used that formula all the way en route to winning a championship. What's the formula on defense right now to beat Kansas City? I don't know if you can take everything away. So more than anything, I feel like Rashee Rice returning gives you options. It gives you a bunch of options that now we see the full depth. We've been talking about this for over a year now about this offense and getting everybody back. What is their offense going to look like when you got this guy and this guy and this guy? We don't have to wait too much longer. Coming up in 2 days, you are going to be able to see the full complement of weapons of what Kansas City has built over the last couple of years, whether it was through the NFL draft or through free agency. Coming up on the other side, we will head to Las Vegas to play the best of Scott Goldbranson to get you ready for Chiefs and Raiders. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
quicker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet, just $35 a month with autopay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Looking for the ultimate spot to watch Sunday football? It's all happening at Brew Brothers inside Harris Casino, Kansas City. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you'll catch every game, every Sunday. So no matter who you root for, your team is always on. Add in ice-cold drinks, mouth-watering food, and a crowd that loves football just like you. And you've got the perfect game day atmosphere. Every snap, every score, every Sunday. Brew Brothers is football headquarters. Be there this weekend at Harris's Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Crash in Shawnee, and that's southbound 35 as you approach 75th in the right lane. Continue down in another crash, 435 westbound at K10 westbound right lane is blocked by a two-car crash. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, so we got two things to get into in this segment. Let's start with Chiefs and Raiders. Earlier today on the show, we were joined by Scott Goldbranson, and I'm taking the Raiders seriously in this game for this reason. It's just been weird this year. And every week, something happens that surprises us. So, I mean, I'm not going to be absolutely floored if the Raiders win this game. It's the National Football League in 2025. Weird things happen. Here's what Scott Goldbranson had to say.
You do, especially, I mean, look, like you said, the Chiefs, the better team right now, ascending their performance, getting Rashee Rice back this weekend. It points to all those directions. But you're right, the NFL is crazy. And if the Geno Smith the Raiders thought they were signing in the offseason shows up, and that offense under Chip Kelly, which hasn't been able to score more than 20 points all season, actually gets it in gear, then perhaps we'll have a game that'll be a lot more entertaining than just another blowout at Arrowhead, where I think the Raiders are now, 2-18 over the last 20 games? Or two, I should say the teams are record-wise are at that clip. So I think that anything could happen here. But clearly, a lot of things are going to have to go the Raiders' way, and a lot of things for the Chiefs are going to have to go south, I think, for it to be a close game that the Raiders might sneak away with a win.
So let's just start with, I guess, the power structure when it comes to this team, because a reason that so many people were optimistic about the Raiders, and I'll put myself in that category, is I thought they had weapons. I really liked the signing of Geno Smith. Ashton Genty, a legit weapon. Brock Bowers was going to develop into being the best tight end in the National Football League. That's really not how this season has kind of played itself out. Let's start with the quarterback. Geno has been bad so far this year. What's gone wrong for him?
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. One is he's got an offensive line that has been shaken around, and we'll get back to that in a second. But what Geno Smith, what you see him doing is you see him forcing balls into coverage. You see him throwing balls and forcing and really trying to pressure himself into making passes, but at the same time missing open receivers. He's not even seeing them down the field when he makes his read. So something's not right there for whatever reason. I don't know if it's pressure he's putting on himself, but he hasn't been the high completion percentage guy outside of week 1 when they beat the Patriots on the road. That looked like the Geno everybody thought they were signed up for. Now he just looks like he's struggling, not able to see the field as well as he could. He's got a great connection with Trey Tucker, the slot receiver, who's done a great job. And you mentioned Genty's doing well, even though he's getting contacted behind the line of scrimmage almost every time he carries the ball. So with Geno Smith, it's just the turnovers at the clip he's at right now, at 10 turnovers, he's on a pace to turn the ball over nearly 40 times via interception. That obviously can't continue. But Pete Carroll shows no inclination to switch out Geno Smith. They are loyal to each other, and until Geno Smith figures it out or doesn't, I think you're going to see a lot of the same, but it's certainly not going to be easier in Kansas City this week.
Right now, we're talking to Scott Goldbranson, who covers the Raiders with Silver and Black, getting you ready for Chiefs and Raiders at noon at Arrowhead. I'm looking at this Raiders defense. Do you think they're capable of slowing down Kansas City's offense? It feels like the old Chiefs offense is back. Maybe not the one we saw in 2018, but certainly the one that was around in 2022 when Mahomes won MVP. He's getting Rashee Rice back. He got Xavier Worthy back a couple of weeks ago. This team is running the football effectively. Their offensive line feels like it's solidified. This is a Chiefs offense that can really strike from all parts of the field. Do you feel like the Raiders can match up with that?
I think it's going to be a real tough day for them. Could they break through on some things? Yes. I mean, obviously Max Crosby is who he is, but when you're being double-teamed every down, it's really difficult to get free. They haven't really shown anything up front against better teams to where it makes you think, well, they're going to be able to break through and pressure Mahomes more to make him unsettled so that he can't distribute the ball so well as he's done. And then the defensive backfield, Carrington, if you're a Raiders fan, this could be a nightmare game because – they just don't have the horses back there right now. They have Kyu Blu-Kelly, a young guy who's been one of the most targeted and yielded the most yards of any cornerback in the NFL. He's a good player. He needs to develop. But because they have no depth, they are really reliant on him and a rookie sitting behind him, Darian Porter, which I think the Chiefs will see a lot more of. But with Rice back, with the way Worthy's going, the way that Patrick Mahomes is distributing the ball, it's going to be really tough for this defense to match. The matchup is just not good right now with what they have on the field.
This is where I am, Scott, when talking about this rivalry. I certainly respect the history, the long-standing history between these teams, between these two organizations. But at this point, at least for the Chiefs, beating the Raiders is not a big deal. Losing to the Raiders is a big deal. You mentioned the two losses that Mahomes has. We remember them very vividly. One of those times the Raiders drove their bus around the stadium. The other one was on Christmas Day. But when you think about Chiefs wins over the last few years or so, there's not many that really stand out.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. You were on my show earlier in the week, Carrington, and a lot of Raider fans were not happy with what you said. But my challenge to them was, what did Carrington say that was incorrect? And the truth is nothing. You're right. When you're talking 2-18, when you're talking the fact that, yes, the old rivalry, the history, you're right. You respect it. It was great. At one time, this is really heated. But now it's sort of like, well, when one team is always good and the other team is always not good, it gets really difficult to get up for it. Now, Raider fans are obviously up for the game much more than I think Chiefs fans are, to the point you made, which is it's not a big win. You expect the Chiefs to win this game. You expect the Raiders to lose it. So, of course, for one side, it's going to be, quote-unquote, a rivalry. For the other one, not so much. Remember, I grew up a Padres fan. where I always thought the Dodgers were our rivals, and guess what? The Dodgers couldn't care less about the Padres until recent years, so I fully get it.
That was our guy, Scott Goldbranson, joining us on the show. He covers the Las Vegas Raiders. We also took a trip to Fox 4 with John Ketz. He has been covering the stadium issue. There was a letter that was written by the mayor of North Kansas City. John Ketz joined us on the show to talk about how viable the North Kansas City option is for the future of the Royals.
To me, I feel like if there is one of the teams that is more likely to leave the city limits, I think it's the Royals more so than the Chiefs. Somebody can disagree with me on that, but I also still feel like Kansas is in play for the Royals. I feel like what me and John Holt reported back in August, that there is a deal in the works for the Royals affiliate to take over 119th and Null. I think that's real. While that property is not in the hands of the affiliate, technically, I still think there is some sort of agreement that is in the works between Occidental Management in Wichita and the Royals affiliate that would allow them to take over ownership. Now, does that mean a stadium is going to go there? Not necessarily, but the Royals are still keeping their options open, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Royals left the city limits of Kansas City, Missouri.
So I guess let's just start with this. You tell me if you think I'm right or wrong just based on what you just said. I think we are down to 3 locations for the Royals. I think it's either the North Kansas City, Clay County, I think it's Washington Square Park, and I think it's 119th and all. Do you agree with that, or do you think there's another part of the city and the metro that the Royals could possibly land?
No, I think that's right. I tried. There was a long, in-depth ESPN article about the drama surrounding the Royals Stadium. That article came out like a month ago now, but I would agree that's what ESPN reported, and I feel the same way in talking to some of the people that I have over the last 3 years now.
Right now, we're talking to Jonathan Ketz, getting the latest when it comes to the Royals and what could possibly happen with the future of the Truman Sports Complex. So let's talk about the 119th and Null site. I am a little bit surprised by this because I hear a lot of people that think that the Royals are moving to Kansas. You mentioned the possibility that the Royals could be moving to Kansas. I feel like everything is there, that if that's the decision that they wanted to make, they would have made it a long time ago. They already purchased the land. The deal from Kansas is not changing in any way. If that's the deal that you think is best and you feel comfortable with it, why do you think the Royals have been hesitant to lock in 119th and all?
That's a really good question. I wonder if it has to do with Occidental Management being able to make a payment that they had to back in August. So technically the Royals affiliate hasn't taken over ownership yet, but that doesn't mean the Royals affiliate couldn't take ownership in the future. Keep in mind, I'm throwing this out there without having this locked down, but there are mayoral and city council elections in November in the city of Overland Park. If you are the Royals and you are the city of Overland Park, why would you want an announcement made before November 4th, which is, I believe, that Tuesday that those elections are on? Kurt Skoog has, I don't think, really wanted to talk about this conversation because he is likely going to beat his challenger, Ferris Farasati, fairly easily. But we already know that Ferris Farasati is against the stadium, and I think Kurt Skoog is much more open to this idea than Ferris Farasati. So I am putting that out there with the idea that Kurt Skoog, if he has something in the works that people in his city don't know about, he's not going to want that made public before his election on Tuesday, November 4th, I believe.
Ketz, I get the feeling, and I'm not a Kansas person by any means, so maybe this is my Missouri bias that is shining through. I don't get the sense that people are really thrilled about the 119th and all location. I think people want it to be in Kansas for obvious reasons. You live over there, state pride, all of those things. But I don't really hear too many people that are really fired up about that being the location for the future Royal Stadium.
I think you're right, but I think the biggest advantage for the Royals at a ballpark at 119th and Null is that you don't have to go to a vote of the people. Now, there will have to be some city council approvals prior to, that deal being finalized. But that is the one advantage that I think has kind of gotten lost with this North Kansas City announcement yesterday. So the other thing that I guess is important to note, like if the Royals are going to go into Clay County, they would have to win a vote of the people in the probably April election in Clay County. So Clay County would own the ballpark. North Kansas City would be a piece of it, but that election would have to happen in Clay County, just like it had to happen in Jackson County back in April of 2024.
Ketz, could you see a scenario in which Clay County and Jackson County work together to keep the stadium in Missouri?
Kind of, but that would be more of a state of Missouri issue. Governor Kehoe called that special session this past summer, and the site was, as he called it, agnostic when it came to the stadiums for both the Chiefs and the Royals. We have never talked about Arrowhead Stadium being up in Clay County. We've talked about a Chiefs practice facility potentially being up there, but Governor Kehoe wants to keep both teams in Missouri, their stadiums. So the Chiefs Stadium, the governor's idea is that there's a renovation at Arrowhead. If the Chiefs stay in Missouri, it's a renovation to Arrowhead. If we're talking about the Royals, it's probably either a ballpark at Washington Square Park or it's a ballpark in Clay County, Missouri, in the city of North Kansas City.
That was Jonathan Ketz joining us on the show with the latest about the stadium. Someone on the text line says it feels like we've been down to these 3 locations for 2 years. No, that'd be accurate. And nothing has changed. They're considering Clay County, downtown Kansas City, and 119th and all. I think that's where we are. We're all just simply waiting for the Chiefs and the Royals to both make a decision about what they want to do. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at The Other Place. We got a very exciting weekend, so it doesn't matter if you're watching the college, doesn't matter if you're watching the pros, doesn't matter if you're watching playoff baseball. This is a very exciting time in the sports calendar, and a perfect place to go celebrate that is with our friends over at The Other Place. They got incredible game day specials on Sunday. 14-inch 2-topping pizzas for $12, $8 wings in a basket of tots, $4 domestic OP cups. You also, today, if you want to go stop by, get yourself a $6 appetizer, also a Busch Light Tall Boy. You know that Rob, he loves himself a Busch Light Tall Boy. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind game day experience, the next best thing to being out to the stadium, if you don't plan on going out there on Sunday, then you need to plan on going to The Other Place.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you're ready to chew it and do it.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Daddy. Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by KC Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. We've got the crash down south, 435 westbound at K10 westbound. It is the right lane blocked. You've also got, on the way to Overland Park, almost there, 35 southbound at 75th. This crash has the right lane blocked there. Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Milwaukee and Champion and 20-plus other vendors at the KC Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. Let's talk about Missouri, Rob, for just a bit. Missouri is playing their first road game of the season. Yes, we are in the middle of October, and the Missouri Tigers have not played a single road game yet. They go on the road tomorrow against Auburn. This feels like a little bit of a coin flip game. I mean, I think Missouri is better than Auburn, but I do think there is just some uncertainty of what does that look like when you go on the road, especially when you haven't so far. I will say this for Missouri. I understand that you are allowed mulligans in this entire thing. You lost your first game at home to Alabama. Now fast forward. I mean, you got back-to-back weeks against Auburn and Vanderbilt. You need to win both of these games if you're trying to be a playoff team. Missouri can be a good team. They can win 8-9 games this year and have a good season. If they're trying to be a playoff team, you got to figure out a way to win these two games, especially when you still got a road game against Oklahoma and a home game against Texas A&M. I would say that Missouri still plays two teams that are, I know that Oklahoma just lost. I think if their quarterback's healthy, I don't think they lose that game. Missouri still plays two teams on their schedule that I think are better than them. I don't think that Auburn or Vanderbilt is a better team than Missouri.
We talked about it last week when we were looking at the Bama game, and Gabe said it perfectly when he was on the show last week. He said if you beat Bama, you basically can go 4-2 or 3-2, whatever the math is, the rest of the way, and you're in the playoff. You lose to Bama, and you need to be near perfect. You can maybe take one more mulligan in one of those games you mentioned where the opponent is just better. I know Auburn has looked better of late, and I know it's a road game, but you really can't afford to drop games that you're supposed to win. I know they might actually flip back to the favorite now, but you're supposed to win this game on the road at Auburn. If you drop this one, I think the playoff hopes are dead because you still have Vanderbilt, who's good. You still have Oklahoma, who's good. You have A&M, who's really good. And then Arkansas looks a little feisty to end the season. You cannot lose to Arkansas. You cannot lose to Auburn. You cannot lose one of those teams you are projected to beat. The margin of error for the Tigers to be a playoff team is very thin right now because of the Alabama loss. They need to go down to Auburn and take care of business. And by the way, I don't think Auburn's very good. Hugh Freeze, I think
Auburn is a very mediocre, average SEC team.
That quarterback I watched against Georgia stinks. Jackson Arnold got ran out of Oklahoma. I don't know if he is good enough to beat Missouri.
Yeah, but we say that, though, and I think we need to be careful, at least of Auburn in this one. Auburn's 3 losses are on the road against Oklahoma, on the road against A&M, home against Georgia. It ain't like we done seen Auburn.
To be fair, who are their wins?
Bad teams.
A lot of bad teams.
But I'm saying is now you are playing a team in Missouri who has yet to go on the road. And at least when it comes to Vegas, they got this as a 1.5-point spread. Vegas thinks this is a coin flip kind of game. I'm just arguing that maybe maybe Auburn is actually a decent team this year. They just didn't win the schedule draw. If you got 3 straight games on the road against Oklahoma, on the road against A&M and Georgia, that is as tough of a 3-game stretch as any team in the country. A lot of teams would have lost all 3 of those games. A whole lot of teams. Now, you got a home game against Missouri. You and I agree. Missouri's not Georgia. Missouri's not A&M. Is this a game that Auburn can potentially grab at home? And I would say that I don't know if Eli Drinkwitz has a bunch of wins like this one, even for a team that we think is 3-3 and 0-3 on the road. I don't know if they got a bunch of wins like this, not on the road against a program like Auburn.
I'm going to ask you something that's going to come off like hate. I don't mean that way. You said maybe Auburn's a good team that took bad luck in the schedule game. Are we sure Missouri's not the same as Auburn? They just got good luck in the schedule game? That's why this game...
That's why I think we'll find out the answer tomorrow at 6:30 on SEC Network. You know what I mean? That's what I think we'll see.
It's a really good point. I think Missouri is better than Auburn, but Missouri hasn't played outside of Faurot Field, and outside of Bama, their schedule, and I'm saying this as a Kansas fan who's on the schedule, has been pretty advantageous. Now it pivots. I think you should go beat Auburn, but it's... At 9 o'clock on Saturday, you'll know if it's a scheduled game or actually Missouri is a playoff type of team.
100% with you. There are a decent handful of teams that could have Missouri's same record if they had been given that schedule. Missouri has a home win against Kansas, which is a good win. Kansas is not a bad team, but Kansas is a 7-win football team. So is South Carolina. 2 7-win football teams at home. A lot of teams, I think, could have taken care of business in those spots. The hardest thing about college football is now going on the road and leaving with wins. They got a night game on the road in the SEC. I don't care who you're playing. It ain't a cakewalk. Can you take care of business tomorrow in that matchup? Are you taking the Chiefs to cover? I know we're both taking them to win. Are you taking them to cover?
Yes, I'll take them to cover. I think it's close. I think you're sweating it late. It's like 35, 24, 21 type energy. But yes, I think they cover.
We'll catch you guys on Monday. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM